Good evening to everybody. To you, Mr. Henry Wright. How are you, sir?
I'm very well, thank you. Yourself?
I'm good. I've just done PT, trying to get into some sort of shape for my wedding, and when you don't think you're that unfit until you do this sort of thing and realise that you're dreadfully unfit. I'm that guy. I'm that guy. I'm not playing for anyone Saturday. Put it that way. I'm not passing any fitness test or anything. So, everybody, welcome to Savva Wright Live Tonight, the show where we take a little break from Tottenham Hotspur and we talk about all things transfers, Premier League, Champions League. And this is a very exciting show because this is the first show where, after we've talked about the transfers, Henry, we actually get to talk about some games coming up and give some score predictions.
Do you know what, right? I don't think I've been this excited for a Premier League season ever.
Ever?
Yeah, I feel like this season's got so many. There's so much to look forward to. You know, I know it's the same things every year. Who's going to win the Premier League? Who's going to win the Champions League? But there's so many different questions this year. Like, how are Newcastle going to perform with all this extra money? How are Leicester going to perform with basically half a squad?
Yeah.
You know, Nottingham Forest are back in the Premiership for the first time in 2 decades. You know,
I'm excited to see that.
Yeah, I like how many. I see today someone saying that he expects Jesse Lingard to get 15 goals, and I was like, all right, steady on. Right, he's a good player, but steady on.
Yeah. It's I think there's a huge difference. I mean, we'll talk about them later, but a huge difference from going to West Ham at the time and playing for a team that's just been promoted. But there's always one team, Henry, isn't there, that comes up, starts like a house on fire. Everyone starts this nonsense talk of, oh, could they get Europe? And then slowly but surely they just tumble down that league. Could that be Forest?
I'm quite a big fan of Forest and what they've done business-wise, but you are right. One team always does it. Brentford did it last year. Wolves did it a couple of years ago. Even Burnley got into the Europa League. But yeah, they're not going to get anywhere near there. I think mid-table would be a massive achievement. Just staying in the Premier League for them would be a massive achievement. But I do think they'll be, I don't think they'll go down. I think they'll stay out. I think they'll finish 13th, 14th around there. But there's so many. I look at Leicester and I think, Jesus, what are they doing? Like, genuinely, what are they doing?
Yeah, well, I've got a little bit about Leicester later, so we won't go on to them yet. I've got a slightly different theory to what you're going to have, but that's what keeps the world moving, my friend. Everybody in the chats, please smash that like button. It really does help. And I am on a mission to get to 1,600 subscribers. We're on 1,545. Hopefully by the end of tonight, we can get maybe 15 more and get to 1,560. If you haven't subscribed, please do. Please subscribe to Henry Wright TV as well. That man there puts a lot of effort into his content for people like you. Henry, let's get stuck in. Let's look at some of the transfers since we last spoke last week. And people in the chat, feel free to not just talk about Tottenham Hotspur. We will talk about Spurs in a bit, I'm sure. But we want to encourage fans of all shows and football fans. Because let's be fair, if our club went into liquidation, we'd still follow football. However, with our owners, that's never going to happen. So, Henry, let's start.
Who would you support? If we went into liquidation, who would you support?
Oh, I'm going to play it safe and say Dartford. They're just down the road. I'm going Dartford in the Conference South. You going City?
Billericay Town.
Yeah, exactly. Can you imagine if one of us sat here and said, "Oh, Chelsea"? Can you imagine that? That would be the soundbite, wouldn't it? The soundbite would be Henry Wright, secretly Chelsea. Do you know what I mean?
No, that'd be all over Twitter and everything.
Guys, evening to all of you. Thank you. So many comments saying good evening to us, evening to you from both of us. Get in any questions you want about any football matters. Let's start, Henry. Let's look at some of the transfers. For me, I think you mentioned this to me earlier in the day as one of the best transfers of the summer at £1 million.
Yep.
Yeah.
The signing of the summer.
Michael to Nice. Why was he only £1 million? Why has he left Leicester City? And why has he gone to Nice? Tell me, Henry.
So I've got mixed views about this. I think outside of the top 6, I think Kasper Schmeichel's the next best goalkeeper. I'd say, to be honest, okay, I'd say I would rather Kasper Schmeichel over Ramsdale, right? Alisson, Ederson, of course. I honestly think Kasper Schmeichel's not that far off Mendy, right? He's a Leicester legend. He's won the Community Shield, the Premier League, the FA Cup, the playoff trophy to get them into the Premiership or whatever it was, and they're in absolute turmoil. There's talk of Maddison going. There's talk of who's the young lad who's sold? Lookman, the midfielder. Sorry, who? Fofana and Yuri Tillemans. Oh, if they get rid of all these players, could Leicester actually go down?
I don't think so, mate. I think what we've always got to remember with Leicester is last year they had the most injured squad in the league. If they can avoid that, they haven't got a bad squad. Like, I'll be honest, right? Let's say Fofana, Maddison and Tielemans stay. I know that's not likely, but let's just say they're all there at the moment. If they had a fully fit squad, the squad they thought they were going to have last year, and they could keep Vardy fit and keep Soyuncu and Fofana fit and Castagne, Pereira and Ndidi, Tielemans, Maddison, it's not a bad team. It's not a bad squad.
Yeah, it's not. And there's a lot of players there that will start for a lot of teams higher than them. But I just think they're in. If I was a Leicester City fan, I'd be worried. I don't think they've signed a player, right? Or I think they might have signed one. Not that I remember. The likelihood is James Maddison's going to leave. The likelihood is someone else will come in for maybe Harvey Barnes. Are Leicester in bother? If you're a Leicester fan, you think, Maddison could be going. We've just lost our captain, right? Schmeichel for £1 million, right? This is an experienced Premier League goalkeeper for £1 million.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose there's a number of ways of looking at this. Look, I don't think they're in any way, shape, or form in trouble, no matter who leaves, because Vardy's goals alone will keep them up, right? Second of all, I just feel that they're not going to lose all those players in one window. It just won't happen. They'll have enough quality throughout the squad to stay there. I don't think they're in as big a turmoil as many think. I do feel that it's difficult because Leicester are the anomaly, aren't they? Leicester are the club that won the league. They won the FA Cup. They're not one of the big six, if you want to say that. But they've done better than a lot of teams. They've done better than Arsenal in recent years. They've done better than Spurs in recent years. They've done better than Man United in recent years. Yeah. So I speak to a Leicester fan quite a lot. I'm not sure if he's in the chat. I speak to Wayne Holland quite a lot. Yeah. And he said to me, look, he said, the thing is, he said, call me crazy. When we've got a fully fit squad, we're a match for anyone. But he said, why are we not signing anyone? Like what's happened there?
I don't get it, because Leicester are a very wealthy club. They signed the likes of Samore, Soyuncu, Castagna. There's a lot of talent there, but it's not looking good, is it? I mean, we're already 6 weeks into the window, and Spurs are on the verge of signing their 7th player. Call it what you will, if they're quality or not.
But
to bring in their 7th player, and then Man City and Liverpool have done their business early. Chelsea have done business. Arsenal have done business, and then Leicester are kind of like should be pushing on for Conference League, Europa League, and you've got West Ham going out there and bidding for Kostic, Calvin Phillips, Samaka, just signed Cornet.
Well, this is what I was going to say. Even if you look at the immediate clubs around them, the West Hams, the Villas, they're signing players, and Leicester aren't. So, I mean, 1 million, that's a bargain. Just really, really quickly, Tom. Yeah, Henry and I do have a fantasy Premier League. We will put the link up in here shortly. Please, there are 85 of you in the chat, only 40 likes. Let's see if we can get that up to 50 as quickly as possible. Just remember, if anyone does want to do a super chat, then 50% of that money does go to the British Heart Foundation. And lastly, trying to get my subscribers up a little bit tonight. If anyone would want to subscribe, please do. It just means one little click, and I try and upload as much content daily for you in many different ways. Henry, let's move on to the next player. Now, this is a player that everyone thought was going to Man City. This was Man City's number one target for left back. He had a great season with Brighton. Very good technical footballer. Great hair. You know me. I love a player with a mop of hair. Cucurella to, was it 50 million? 55 million, whatever Chelsea have had to pay. And it looks like a medical's taking place. Is it tonight or tomorrow? Good signing for them. Does it reinforce their left side with him and Chilwell?
I've got mixed feelings about this. I think for Man City, it would have benefited them a hell of a lot more because they've only really got Cancelo and now they've got Ake can play there, but Chelsea have already got Ben Chilwell and Alonso, right? Alonso,
they're telling. Sorry, I was about to say they're telling me like there's Fabrizio Romano in my living room. Fab, just 1 minute, mate. 1 minute. I'm reading that apparently he's the left back on Barcelona's list. Is Alonso?
See, okay, if you're Chelsea, right? Chelsea, you got no forward options really, but they're going out and signing. They're bidding for De Ligt. They're bidding for Koundé. They've signed Koulibaly. They're bidding for Fofana. They're signing Cucurella. Would you not be worried, considering you don't actually have a number 9 in your team?
Well, look, let's tie in another player. I was going to talk about this player later. Let's tie this in then. Yeah, let's tie this bloke in. Lots of reports saying that they are readying a bid. I love all the adjectives,
all the terminology,
all the words. I mean, some of the ones I've seen about Spurs this week are brilliant. Like Spurs are doing in-depth. Was it in-depth?
In-depth analysis on a player.
In-depth analysis, yeah.
Just hilarious.
So, look, Chelsea are linked with a lot of players, and when we say linked, it's not like other clubs. When Chelsea are linked, they tend to go.
They go and buy,
bang, right. Now they've tried with a lot of players, not got them, but they keep going. Fair play to them. Aubameyang is being linked with Chelsea. Proven. Now, let's Spurs hats off. Proven goal scorer all over the world. Proven. Not a big ego. I mean, not a big ego. Not like a Lukaku type. I think is more of a clinical goal scorer. I think that would be a worry for the team. I'm not saying they would cat sit in Liverpool, but I think he could go there and rattle and go.
Fit, if they can stay fit and you say, right, okay, we've got an up front of Havertz, Aubameyang and Sterling, and you'd be like, right, okay, but he's on what, 300 grand a week at Barca? 250 grand a week? So wages wouldn't be an issue for Chelsea, but it's a risk. It's a massive risk because he's, 33 now? I know players can play older and that, and I understand that, but is it a Chelsea buy or is it a panic buy? Same with Cucurella. Is Cucurella, if you're Chelsea right now, why would you be going and signing the defenders? They've already got Koulibaly. They've already got Chilwell. I get squad depth. I get that.
Yeah.
But would you rather not go and spend 50 million on another forward if you're Chelsea?
Yes, just quickly. I will not take kindly to any talk about my mum. Trust me, this is not an area you want to go down. Please stop that immediately. Look, I think the difficulty is, Henry, is Tuchel plays a certain way. Yeah. So when we look at Liverpool and how exciting they are because they're 100 miles per hour, and then we look at Man City and how exciting they are because they just pass teams to death and one-touch football, blah, blah. Chelsea's is more of a, we're organised, try and beat us. We don't care if we're great to watch.
Yeah,
and I think
we'll score.
Yeah, and I think that is what's born from when you look. We went through it the other day, right? How many goals do Chelsea defenders get?
Yeah, lots. But I'm going to put a kind of pull one out of the hat here. I think Tuchel is going to be one of the first managers to go. And I'm not the first or the last person to say that because I think this new owner, this new American guy, wants to put 300 million into the club this window.
Yeah.
Right. He's already spent 40 or 5 million on Sterling, 30 odd million on Koulibaly. They're looking at bringing in Frankie de Jong. They're looking at bringing in Fofana. They've just spent 50 million on Cucurella. So let's say, for argument's sake, 120 million. And then you get an awesome team, but shit football. But then again, Shit football wins you trophies. Boring football will always beat attractive football in a game because it's about game management and it wins you trophies. People get Mourinho's back all the time, but
so look, while we were in the Chelsea, there was a couple of other Chelsea players. I'm going to chuck in Frankie de Jong to the mix for Fana. Diego C. Palace has said, if Chelsea land Frankie de Jong and Aubameyang, could they challenge for a title? Do you think? Do you think they're far off?
No chance. No. They don't have the firepower. You look at the other teams around them, City and Liverpool. The depth City have got is just frightening.
Oh yeah.
Like it's actually, we were talking about it in the office earlier, and we were comparing City and Liverpool squads. And Liverpool are slowly catching them, but Man City's bench, let's say last season, off of the bench, their depth, it's ridiculous. They can bring on Bernardo Silva at any point if he doesn't start. Gundogan at any point if he doesn't start. They can bring on, Foden, Grealish, Alvarez, Haaland. De Bruyne doesn't always start. I mean, their depth is absolutely frightening. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, absolutely. Just quickly, I'm going to come back to this, Andy Midge. I'm not forgetting you. Big up, Wayne, and thank you so much for the donation. I know that the British Heart Foundation is a very close cause to your heart as well, Wayne. So thank you very much. And please put in the comments, Wayne, Leicester. We were just talking about Leicester. What do you reckon? If you don't sign anyone, are you in trouble? Are you happy that you've just got a fit squad? Thank you very much, Wayne. As always, much love to you. A lot of time for yourself. This is really interesting, Emery, and I want us to answer this with this show is not our Spurs hats, right? I agree. I agree completely. Everyone is saying how bad Chelsea have had a window, that they're in trouble. Spurs have had this amazing window. But he's right. You'd rather Koulibaly than Longley. You'd rather Sterling than Richarlison. If they get Aubameyang,
you'd rather Cucurella over Perisic as well.
Yeah, but listen, I mean, they'll be asked to perform different duties, but Cucurella and Chilwell versus Perisic and Sessegnon, right?
No,
then you look at the other side where you've got Reece James and Azpilicueta.
Or maybe they're looking at bringing in Dumfries as well, aren't they?
Right. Okay, then you look at their midfield options. If they get Aubameyang as well, Aubameyang goals, Sterling goals, I think people are writing off Chelsea very, very early. I don't
get, but the only people that are writing them off are just Tottenham and Arsenal fans. No one else is.
True.
It's just these deluded fans that support the North London clubs. Because let's be honest, in the entire Premier League, the worst fans are Tottenham and Arsenal. I mean, you got fans coming out saying that Spurs are in a title race. We've never been in a title race since the 60s. Let's be honest.
Yeah, it's difficult because look, when we have this chat in Spurs shows, if I get told to trust Conte one more time, and my response is, I'm not going to go down this route too much, Emery, but my response is always the same thing, which is it's not Conte I'm worried about. Right?
Yeah.
I don't not trust Conte. Give Conte the players, he's going to win us stuff. Give him what we've given him, because, and I don't, as I said, I want 1 minute on Spurs, right? Conte has gone from, in 6 months, he's gone from, I'm not here for throwing his toys out the pram. I'm not here for fourth. I want to win things. I want to win titles. Now that the window is coming to an end and the season starting, all of it is, hang on. I'm not saying in these words, but it's distancing himself from that talk. And it's, no, we just want to get better. And what makes me laugh is fans that have come into my YouTube, right, all window, Emery, telling me, Conte said he's not here for fourth, he's here to win. We're winning titles, you're negative. All of a sudden, these fans are going, well, you can't do it in one window.
He's still got a job to do, hasn't he? He's still got a job to do, regardless of, the position we're in. He's still getting paid £20 million a year. The last thing I will say on Spurs is I can actually see Conte signing another contract.
You can?
Yeah, I can see it. I think they'll give Kane a deal in November, just before the World Cup, right? Makes sense. After the window, look at the squad. Then in April next year, I think if we have a good season, say top four, I think they'll give Conte another deal.
Yeah. Last question on Spurs, because I do want to move on. There's been some other signings. Is there any theory behind players might not want to come to Spurs because Conte himself hasn't signed a long-term contract? So, for example, just going to pluck a name out of there, Emery. Let's say Spurs go for Milenkovic-Savic. Do you think there's any part where his team go, well, hang on, he's bought into you, Antonio, but you've only got a year on your deal? Do you see in any way that could be into a player's psyche?
Yes and no, because we're in Spurs have never been in an attractive position at all, right? We have to have a manager to pull us in because we don't have the pool that the likes of United, Liverpool, and City do, and Chelsea do, offering ridiculous wages and offering trophies, etc. I think Conte and Mourinho were the draws, but you're right. You're not going to commit to a 5-year deal if the manager's only got 6 months left, are you? Because then 6 months down the line, shit hits the fan, and we bring in Nuno. And then you've got Serge Milinkovic-Savic going, right, okay, I'm used to playing to a 2. Now you put me in the 3. Now you put me wing back. Now you put me, false 9. Because that's what will happen. By the way, if we did sign Serge Milinkovic-Savic, it would be that'd be the best signing we've made.
I just plucked him from there.
Can you imagine?
So let's move on from Chelsea then. Look, at the end of the day, I'm jealous that Chelsea are in talks with Fofana, De Jong, Cucurella. And as much as Spurs fans will belittle all of those signings because we're not signing them, that's the sort of window I was expecting.
That's ambition.
From Spurs, now that we've got Champions League and Conte. Those names is what I was expecting, not Longley, not Jed Spence, Fraser Forster, Richarlison. Anyway, moving on. Renato Sanches at £15 million to PSG. I think he's a wonderful player. And it looks like Gautier is going in there and trying to put his own little stamp on. What do you make of that?
Well, they've just got rid of Idrissa Gueye, haven't they? He's going back to, is it Everton?
Yeah, that's correct.
So it makes sense. Younger player, bring him in, fitter, better player.
Yeah.
But PSG have always struggled in their midfield. They've always struggled. Verratti, Pastore, Idrissa Gueye, Gini Wijnaldum went there, didn't really work out well. They've brought a player in who's, knows that league. I just think, do PSG have a player like a Modric, like a De Bruyne, I know you could say Verratti can pull the strings, but I feel like PSG, the midfield always lets them down in big games. Always.
I think the difficulty with PSG is no manager has got the balls to drop one of those front 3. And I think you could get 2 of them in there. But I don't think you can have all. I mean, look, Messi's 34, going on 35. He, like Ronaldo, he's not going to be tearing around the pitch. Yeah. Mbappe's not really one to track back and chase. Neither's Neymar. If you've got 3 of them doing that, now compare that to how Liverpool's front 3 chase, City's front 3, Real Madrid's front 3. They all push and chase and press. Something's not right there. Something's not right. But I just think Renato Sanches I think that's a good signing.
15 million quid pretty much every Premier League team besides City and Liverpool. He'd go in and he'd walk into their team.
Yeah. 1 second. I'm just going to see if Stell wants to get 15, his.
Let's put that into perspective, right? Why you do that, right? Let's look at Chelsea's midfield. Jorginho, Kovacic, Gallagher, Mason Mount, Kante. At this moment in time, I would rather Renato Sanches probably over Kante because he's completely injury prone and I think he's knackered now. I don't think he'll play a lot of football this year. You probably lean towards, I'd lean towards. I don't know about Kovacic. I take in the way they play. I don't know. But you look at Man United, Renato starts there. He definitely starts at Spurs. He definitely starts at Arsenal. Liverpool.
I mean, I definitely in rotation in their midfield, but I mean, he's a wonderful player. And you think the new manager's gone into PSG, right? Wijnaldum's gone on loan to Roma, which I think is a wonderful signing for Roma. I think it's a no-brainer.
Also brought in Mukiele. Is that how you pronounce it? Right back.
Who's that? No, that was PSG.
Yeah. So if Hakimi gets injured, you got one of the best fullbacks in Europe sitting there.
Wow.
I just think with PSG, they always struggle in their midfield. I look at them and think they're just not as strong as other teams, are they? You look at whenever they've gone up in the Champions League, they've just been completely.
I tell you, right, okay, dude, you're getting blocked. Listen, my mum's passed away, so any sort of talk about my mum,
it's just not necessary. Just block him.
Just mate, come on, we're trying to have a football chat here.
But yeah,
anyway.
I look at it and think PSG have never had a dominant, Xavi, Iniesta, Busquets, Modric, Toni Kroos, Casemiro, Kimmich, Thomas Muller, etc. Bayern's midfield. They never ever have dominated, in the midfield. Forward wise, it's out as well. Defense wise, and they're Thiago Silva, Marquinhos, Hakimi, but I don't know. I don't know.
Look who's decided to join Savva Wright Live Tonight. Here he is. Have you misplaced your baseball cap?
Yeah, do you know what? I just thought I'd let whatever hair's left breathe tonight. Just let it get a bit of oxygen. How you doing? You all right, guys?
Good.
Right.
Still, this is a fun one because we get to talk about something other than Spurs. It's good fun.
Good.
I'm just going to bring you in still. I'm just going to read out this comment. King Monkey, I keep hearing this, that Renato Sanches, he was at Swansea and awful, but you've got to remember, he was like 19 years of age. You go away sometimes, you grow up, you learn the game, and he's got his big move. And let's be fair, he's a wonderful... what do you think of him still? Sanchez to PSG, £15 million. I
think for the price, it's an absolute bargain, isn't it? At that price, how can you fault a deal like that? It's phenomenal. It's a bit, it's a bit like Kulusevski. What we paid to get him on loan, it's unbelievable. We got him at that price.
Yeah.
When you get players that can perform, they can deliver at anything below 25 million. I think you're laughing nowadays in this market.
Still, do you? I was just saying before you jumped on. Does Renato Sanches start for Spurs? Probably, yeah. 15 million quid. It's an absolute steal. And Kasper Schmeichel to Nice for $1 million. I honestly am baffled.
I can't believe he hasn't stayed in the Premier League. He's a good goalkeeper, man. He's a good goalkeeper. And he's won. He's won the FA Cup. He's won the Premier League. He's won the Community Shield. He knows how to get things done. So his dad's not a bad mentor either, is he? Yeah. So there you go.
Let's move on then. And another signing that I can't confirm this is definitely done, but I know West Ham have just triggered the 17.5 million release clause. I think this is a bargain. I think this is a wonderful signing if they get him. Maxwell Cornet, who looks like a box of tricks, got a lot of goals in a really, really bad Burnley team.
Good goals as well. Good goals. A couple of free kicks in there.
Some very good goals. It looks like, I'm not Moyes, but I mean, if you've got Bowen, calm down, Henry, don't get too hot. We're going to talk about Jared Bowen. You've got Bowen on one side, Cornet on the other, and Scamacca up top with Rice and Souček. That's not too shabby, is it, lads? It's not.
And you look at their depth as well. Then you got backup Fornals, backup Antonio, and Ben Rama as well. Lanzini. Yep. You look at their options and think they're not a million miles away from Spurs. Let's be honest. One or two injuries to Kane or Son, and you fancy West Ham's forward line over ours.
It's fine margins. I mean, look, all the while we've got Kane and Son, no one will touch our forward line, right? The moment you lose one of them, I mean, I'm not saying they're going to be near us. I'm not saying they're going to finish above us. I just think that if I was a West Ham fan, I think they've done some decent business there with Scamacca, Maxwell Cornet. The new centre half they've got at the back apparently is impressed in pre-season. I mean, 17.5 million. It's a no-brainer, isn't it?
I think under David Moyes, their transfer business has been decent. You know,
I agree.
Listen, we don't know who's in charge of the scouting and the recruitment there, but whoever is in charge since Moyes has been in, it's been decent. You know, it really has. West Ham are one of those clubs that are quietly ticking, doing the deals they need for their plans. Do you know what? They probably aren't a top 4 side, but definitely top 6. They'll definitely. Do you know what? Are they in Europe next year? Do they qualify for Europe?
Conference League.
They're in the Conference League,
so they can play a B team there. Do you know what? They might get top 6 then, because Arsenal and Man United twice a week. Europa Cups after the group stage is not easy. It's not the hardest, but West Ham might just get top 6 this year.
Mm-hmm. Just quickly, guys, there are 130 of you in this chat and only 58 likes. That is what we call stingy. I remember being in the playground and calling my mates stingy for not giving me their chips. Stop being stingy. Press that like button. You haven't got to pay anything. Just press like and subscribe to Henry Wright TV, Tottenham Away, and to Savva Talk Spurs. Lads, let's move on from Maxwell Cornet. We've talked about Wijnaldum. Let's look at some of the rumours for transfers that could be going. It won't go away. It seems to be this is like the 3rd window in a row this rumour has come up of Ruben Neves to Man United. What do you guys make of Ruben Neves? Because for me, I would love him in Tottenham's midfield.
All day
like
long.
a deep lying playmaker that just keeps the game ticking over. Wonderful vision, lovely hair. Again, I love players with long hair.
I'm going to give an unpopular opinion here, and I know you guys and everyone in the chat are going to really get on. I think he's a good player, but I don't think he's this fantastic great player. I think in a Wolves side, next to Moutinho, you've got a perfect partner there. If you put him next to McTominay and Fred, I don't see the same player we're seeing now.
Henry, put him next to Bissouma and behind Kane, Son, and Kulusevski.
Yeah, but you're talking Bissouma like in his position. I would probably in a box-to-box DM. He's probably top 5 in the league.
Yeah, but Neves isn't a DM, is he?
No, yeah, Neves isn't. He's more of a box-to-box midfielder. But I look at his attributes and go, right, okay, he's not blessed with pace. He can't really take a man on.
Is he better than Winks? Is he better than Winks?
Mate, I'm better than Winks.
Is he better than Lucas Moura? No, wait, is he better than Lucas Moura?
Yeah, but they're not the same positions, are they?
Is he better than Oliver Skipp?
Yes, of course he is.
So he's better than all them 3. Yeah, them 3 the ones we're going with. So Neves will
but we know we're absolutely finished. The point I'm making is like I look at Ruben and think, okay, he's a good passer. Okay, he's a good long distance shooter. Can't really take a man on. Not blessed with pace. He's a good tackler.
That's not his game, is it? That's not his game.
I'm just throwing attributes out. Okay,
he's creative though, isn't he, Henry? He can create.
Yeah, he's creative, and he's one of his best attributes is he's press resistant. When he's got 2 or 3 men closing in, he can get rid of the ball quickly and create something. But I just think for Man United, you know, they've got Ericsson. Look at them. They've got Ericsson. They've got Bruno, who will probably play false 9 a lot this year.
But isn't that squad depth then if they get him? Like if they've got Bruno, Ericsson,
we're talking £60 million.
Yeah, but money.
If you got the money, would you care?
Yeah, it only ever seems to be an issue for Tottenham fans. The money.
No, I'm not saying for Tottenham fans. I'm saying for £60 million. Excuse me. There's other players in Europe, midfielders.
I think Neves in a Man United squad that's going to play Ten Hag football, or Neves in a Spurs squad with the 3 players we got in front of him. Either club, he becomes the next level up from what he is now.
And you've got to think, right? Just one last thing, Savva. There's other midfielders that are around Europe that have gone for absolute peanuts that are miles better than this guy. Like, if Man United were serious, the first signing they should have went and got, knowing that Ten Hag is there, is Gravenberch. Now, he, in a Man United midfield, knowing Ten Hag's football...
Where's Gravenberch gone?
Yeah, I know that. Hypothetically, he's gone by Bayern Munich now, but if they knew
Henry,
Henry was coming in,
doesn't it? I think what Stell stumbled upon there. Sorry, I'm saying like that wasn't your real opinion. You just happened to stumble upon it. But what
Still got lucky. Yeah, go on.
Stell was lucky with his opinion. Yeah, as always. He's right. I think you've got to look at when you look at how a player plays. Sometimes the manager just works for them, and in the style that Ten Hag plays, he loves that sort of bloke in midfield that can keep a game ticking over. You know, like the Michael Carricks, the Luka Modric. Neves, for me, walks into our midfield. He'd be the first midfielder on my list. But that's just me. Just quickly, MP talking nonsense saying Cornet is a brilliant signing. Is it not a brilliant signing?
How is he not a brilliant signing? How is he not a brilliant signing?
Why is he not a brilliant signing for West Ham? I think sometimes, please remember, this isn't a Spurs show, right? So not everything needs to be based against Spurs.
Would you rather pay 17 million for Cornet and have 40 odd million in the bank, or pay 60 million for Richarlison?
Is Cornet better than what they had in that position? Yes. So
right,
he's a good signing for West Ham, whatever we think.
I think, unfortunately, you get too many fans that can't talk football without their club alliance getting in the way, and that is a real problem with football fans. Listen, I'm not sitting here saying Maxwell Cornet is amazing. I think he's a very good footballer. But this is the test for him, right, lads? It's okay being the big fish in a small pond. Now he's going to a bigger pond. I'm not saying the biggest, but now he's going to a bigger pond. You either sink or you become a cult hero at West Ham, and I think they're going to really enjoy him. I think he'll get goals, and I think he'll complement what they're trying to do.
I feel like that signing is similar to when Man United signed Wilfried Zaha.
Oh, look at that opinion. See, it's things like that make me question life. Ward-Prowse, for me, take away his free kicks is nothing on Ruben Neves as a footballer. Just me.
Do you know, I was having this conversation last month with a Southampton fan, and I said, because this is when we were talking about Ward-Prowse coming to Spurs, it was the hot topic and whatever, and I asked him, like, what's he really like? You watch him week in, week out. And he said to me that he's so much better than what people think. He's not just, listen, this is his opinion, right? This is what this I don't have I've got an opinion of what I think, but I haven't seen him enough. But listen, cut long story short, doesn't matter what I think. He said to me that he is a really, really good player, and he does a lot of the a lot goes through him. He without him, they see the drop. But look, that's one Southampton fan.
Yeah. Of course. I don't get things like this. Like Noah wants to desperately tell me that he's slow, Neves, he's got no pace. Listen, Michael Carrick, who was one of the best midfielders in Premier League history for me in terms of that position, he didn't have any pace and sat in Man United midfield for a decade, winning
the most underrated player they've ever had.
Champions Leagues, Cups, and they've never replaced him. Let's move on from Ruben Neves, guys. A rumour that's been picking up pace in the last 2 days, and we love a rumour in football, is another Wolves player, Connor Cody. Apparently, Everton want him apparently to partner Tarkowski at the back. Now, I've got a multi-layered question for you boys here. First of all, I'm a fan of Cody. I think he's a solid Premier League defender, no nonsense, no frills, will do his job. Why would you swap at the moment Everton for Wolves? They're a bigger club on paper, but would you swap Wolves for Everton, knowing where Everton are right now?
2 reasons.
Go on.
1, he's a Scouser, right? I don't know if he's a Liverpool or Everton fan. And 2, they're gonna double his wages. Mm-hmm. Everton, believe it or not, are a very wealthy club, but they've spent 500 million in the last 8 years on transfers. You know, the likes of Allen, Decore, James Rodriguez, etc. Richarlison, they signed for about 45 million from Watford. Jordan Pickford, 30 million from Sunderland. Digne, Andre Gomez, they've signed some good players, but Everton will pay more money. But it is a big step down. I think if they did have Connor Cody and Tarkowski, they'd stay up, because if they do not sort out that defense, it's a championship level defense. They've lost Digne. They've lost.
Just quickly, Henry, I feel like I'm doing a disservice to the world if I don't read it. I feel like this is amazing. What a way of words you've got, Glenn. The reason why Spurs and Arsenal have the worst fan base is because they're infected with TikTok loving, soy latte sipping hipster twats. I mean, great use of the words. Sorry, Henry, go on. So yeah, go on.
I think before they signed Tarkowski and potentially Connor Cody, you look at Holgate. He's very poor. He's a championship player at best. Who else have they got in defence? Michael Kane.
Oh God, he's dread. They've got Kane. They bought the Ukrainian left back. They also bought. Didn't they buy that guy from Rangers? I want to say Patterson.
Yeah. So you look Connor Cody and Tarkowski, both smash mouth centre half. So it would improve them, but I fear for Everton because they've got no firepower. Calvert-Lewin's out for 6 weeks now.
You've stolen my next segment. You've stolen my next segment, Henry. There, haven't you? Eh? Yeah. I mean, still, let's talk about that. I mean, Everton struggling with their squad. They spent most of the window trying to chase. Is it Gibbs White of Wolves? They got Tarkowski on a free. They're getting Idrissa Gueye back from PSG. And Calvert-Lewin's just been ruled out for 6 weeks. So they're going to start the season with no Richarlison, no Calvert-Lewin. Where are Everton going to score a goal from? Is this Dele Alli's time? I don't know who else is going to score for them still.
Dele Alli might help them go down. Time.
I'm looking at the squad. What they got? Damari Gray.
Dele Alli's a waste of space. Absolute waste of space.
We
he's
know
finished.
that.
As a footballer, he's finished. There's no comeback. There's no transfer that's gonna. His head is completely just not in football. I don't know where he's at. The money. He likes the money. That's it. It's just. So I'm gonna give a shout out to someone called Shami Sood, best football player I ever played with. Honestly, every time I played with him, I loved it. I knew exactly what he was going to do. I knew exactly what performance he'd put in. Comfortable, left foot, right. What a player. Such a good player. He's a massive Evertonian, which is weird because he's Indian and lives in West London. I've never, ever known anyone who's Indian and from West London who supports Everton, but there you go. And he absolutely despises Lampard as the manager. I think as long as Lampard's there, they're fucked.
I agree. He's a terrible coach.
He's not the right manager for Everton. Do you know what Lampard's good at? I'll give him credit. Put him at a club.
That's what he's good at.
Yeah. Smashing Spurs when he's a footballer. Give Lampard a mid to not top, but mid to above average club where he's going to work with young players. I think he's good at that. I think he's good at working with young players and bringing through young players and doing work with them. I think that's his calling. Competing to win trophies, get Champions League, and get into that bracket of wow, what a manager this is. For me, that's not Lampard. That's not Lampard. I don't think he's that kind of a person. So I think it doesn't matter what Everton do, really. As long as he's there, they're going to be a mid-table, maybe 8th, 9th at best. He's not the right man for a club of Everton's size. Everton are a big club. They're a big club. He's the wrong man for the job. So, As for Connor Cody, Henry, you said you were being controversial. I'll be controversial now. Connor Cody's a better player than Eric Dyer all day long.
Yeah, of course.
Now, if Spurs fans want to lose their marbles over what I've just said,
they will
lose your marbles. I don't care. Just because Eric Dyer wears a Spurs shirt doesn't mean we have to devote our allegiance to him being better than what he is. Eric Dyer is good at trying to get top 4, no more. That's it. That's his level, right?
Yeah,
and he has to be
It's
in a
Virgil
team that
van
is good
Dijk.
enough.
It's Virgil van Dijk.
Virgil van deluded.
One thing I've never seen Cody do. When I see
Connor
Cody,
Cody's a better leader. He's a better leader all day long. He's vocal, and he organises a backline that Eric Dyer can't. And he's good in the air. Eric Dyer's shit in the air. He's a better player. He's a better player than Eric Dyer.
What does Eric Dyer actually excel at? Like, what is his actual attributes?
I think this season he read the game much better than he normally does. And I'm going by his standards, not the standards we expect from a top player, right? I think he improved in terms of reading the game, and he did put a lot of important blocks in this year. So his blocking, tackling improved, but he still got spun inside out. He still can't command the back line. Part of the reason we're not good at set pieces is because no one at the back can organise it properly, and also he's not the greatest in the air. Look, I'm not trashing him. I'm not trashing him. Yeah, I think, look, for a top 4, getting to top 4, I've got no problem with that. But if Spurs want to push on and try and win a Premier League, an FA Cup, then we need Romero level players. Or for me, I'd have Connor Cody over Dyer if we want to push on. I don't think Connor Cody's the answer, but I'd have him over Dyer.
Just quickly,
I know Spurs fans are going to lose their shit now, but
they will. But the truth does hurt, and like you said, his best attribute is his leadership. If he played in the middle with Romero to the right, Longley to the left, I'd feel a lot more comfortable because he's a leader. And, you know, I mean, unfortunately, you get comments like this, which just, I just love comments like this because they give me energy to feed.
He's never scored one, though. He's never scored one.
Yes.
Savva, mate, has Cody ever got top 4 with Tottenham?
When? Now, for England at the Euros.
All right, sorry. He's never scored one in a Spurs shirt.
All right, in a Spurs shirt he hasn't, yeah.
What are we talking about?
Dyer has scored a free kick.
Okay. This is one of those sentences where you know when you think someone's not used this before using these to type. Now, first and foremost, Connor Cody's not going to finish 4th because Spurs are a better football club than Wolves, right? That's life. That doesn't mean. That doesn't just tell you that Dyer is better than Cody. Yeah. Connor
Cody was the centre back against Spurs when they beat us 3-2 at White Hart Lane. Should we forget about that then? Or just pick the bits that suit the narrative? Or pick the bits that suit the narrative.
Can I ask you guys?
Cherry picking. That's all it is.
I keep seeing this word used in football sentences. I'll be honest. I don't know if it's because I'm old or what. But what do these things mean? He's an injury merchant. I mean, what is this?
Gets injured a lot. That's all it means. Gets injured a lot.
Bruv.
When did we stop talking?
Someone says he's a pace merchant or he's a anything merchant is just exaggerating whatever the word in front of it means. So he's an injury merchant. He gets injured a lot.
Okay, I see. Okay,
he's just calling him a sick note. He's calling him sick note.
Before we move on, we're going to move on. There's 163 of you in the chat. And at the moment, we are on 76 likes. That means that half of you have not pressed the like button. Please do. And I'm looking for 7 more people in this chat to subscribe to me tonight. Would really help me towards my figures. And also go and subscribe to Tottenham Away for Stell and Henry Wright TV. Lads, I want to talk about one last rumour before we move on to this weekend's Premier League games. We'll talk about some of the games and the scores and what we think those teams might do this year. I'm probably going to butcher his name. Spurs are deep in talks, or we're monitoring, or choose your adjective that you want, with Agodi, if that's the right way to pronounce his name. Now, I put a post up earlier on my YouTube saying, look, I've got no problem with him as a player, but why is 25 million of our transfer budget going on another player that we're buying, getting away for a year? And what worried me about this, lads, it's not the player. I just want to stress this, boys. It worried me, the number of our fans that are going, great signing, he's a great player, without thinking about what we currently need in this 11. Where are you boys at with this? why are we buying him to loan him back if he's better than Sessegnon? And why is that 25 million not going towards a right wing back, a centre back, a creative midfielder? I've asked about 15 questions. Henry, go.
So the money that we'd say, for instance, if we buy him for 25 million, we don't spend a penny of that until he actually comes back from loan. So he is registered as our player. It's just a small loan fee up front. That's apparently what one of the guys was explaining earlier. I actually spoke to an Italian fan here on Twitter, and he said he's a very, very good player, but he's better than your options you've got now. So why are you loaning him back? So I'm baffled by some of the business we're doing. I really don't understand it. He seems a good player in a few of the clips I watched about a couple of hours ago. Just quickly while we're on Spurs, Daniel Levy is actually in Barcelona at the moment. It's been pictured in Barcelona, which is only one player we have been interested in Barcelona. Do you know who that is?
No.
Memphis Depay.
No. He's a fucking another Bergwijn. That's another Bergwijn, man.
No, come on, Stel. He's miles better than Bergwijn.
No, he's not. Listen, it's opinions. If we get him, I'll be so underwhelmed.
Lucas Moura or Depay?
But neither. None of them. None.
Savva, Lucas Moura or Depay?
I mean, I've taken Depay over Lucas Moura all day long.
I'm taking Depay over Richarlison.
This is one of those signings where, for depth, I have no issue with it. But it's another one where I would look at and go, hang on, we've still not addressed the main issues from last year. We still have not addressed the right wing back. We've got 4 that can play there apparently, and not one of them stands out. We still have not addressed a proper centre back, and we still have not addressed a single bit of creativity. But yet we're going to go and get Depay, maybe. We're going to go and get another young player to go on loan, like we did with Brian Hill, like we did with Papa Sarr, like we did with Jack Clark, Ryan Sess. I'm not understanding, guys, the Tottenham Hotspur plan.
Building for the future. That's the new buzzword.
Henry, I was 3 or 4 when I went to my first game. We've been building it since then. Since then, Henry, I've been to school, completed it. College, completed it. DJ'd in Malia for 2 years, completed it. I've had a 20-year career in recruitment. I've got a fiance, 2 dogs, a house, a mortgage, and Spurs are still building. I don't want to build anymore. Complete.
We're 21 years into another 3-year project. Every manager comes in for a 3-year project. 21 years to get this 3-year project done. Honestly, this Levy project is worse than Crossrail.
Do you know what?
They charge you just as much, though.
So Conte, this new fullback, Conte rates him apparently, and he's come out and before when he was talking about him in another interview, he said he's a good player and he likes him. But question for both of you: do you think that Spurs are holding this deal back to say to Conte, okay, we are building for the future under you? You know, we're signing
Henry.
Hear me out, right? We are signing younger players. Kulusevski, 21-22. Jed Spence, 21-22. I know you might not rate them, I get that. But this new fullback, 20 years old by the time he comes there.
I don't care how old they are, Henry.
I know you don't. But you think...
I heard this with Clark, with Sessegnon. I heard this with Roden. I heard this with Unji and Kudu. They're young. They're for the future. Papa Sarr, Brian Hill. I mean,
Alfie Devine, Dane Scarlett.
Right. And when are we gonna
Troy Parrott?
Troy Parrott. The Harry Kane replacement. Yeah.
It's comments like this, right?
Spurs
make me lose faith in humanity and Tottenham fans. It's Savva. Who cares? Levy is back in the team as you have been screaming for all these years. Now, party after party, Right? Let me put this for you in another way. If I remove the football element, if I said to my missus, right? If I said to my missus for 5 years, I want to go on holiday. No, we're not going on holiday. I want to go on holiday. No, we're not going on holiday. 5 years later, she goes, all right, I've booked us into a caravan park. No, that is not a holiday. I don't want that. I want to go abroad. I want to go on holiday, right? So when you're telling me...
Caravan park, that is the best analogy ever.
Right, who cares? Levy's back in the team. Listen, party after party, I've got a feeling you are a fan. I hear this all the time from people that don't pay to go and watch Tottenham Hotspur play. Stell, you pay to watch Tottenham, right?
Yeah.
Henry,
In many
you pay
ways.
to watch Tottenham.
Mentally,
right?
physically, financially,
right.
psychologically.
I paid to watch Tottenham. So when you're saying who cares, how can you be a fan of a club and just say who cares? I'm baffled by this statement, boys. Baffled.
Henry, to touch on what you said, building this nucleus, this squad, because Conte is going to be here for the long term, this and that, right? Number one, then he needs to sign a long-term contract, right? That's right. Number one. Otherwise, what you've said means nothing. Number two, how many more managers, how many more years are we going to go through this? Build for the future, build for the future, build for the future. At some point, right? At some point, this sorry-ass club that somehow I still support and I still give my time and love and attention to, at some point, I just want to see them say, right, I want Milinkovic-Savic, I want Bastoni, I want Jesus, I want Cucurella, just players that I say, wow. And do you know when you know we've had a good transfer window? This is how you know. Spurs fans aren't split or divided in opinion.
Yeah.
They're not divided. The fact we're always divided is because we know that this isn't quite right. Something doesn't quite add up here.
Back on from what you're saying and answer this question then.
Yeah. Doogie and Depay. That's 8 signings. Can you say ambition? So if we sign 8 players who are all crap, that's ambition because we've signed 8 players. Isn't that what we did when we spent the Gareth Bale money then? We bought 7 players. 1 turned out good. The rest were trash. We won nothing. And the manager got sacked.
You know what, guys? When I worked in Malia, right, honestly, it must have been 2002, 2003. I did those 2 summers. Behind the DJ booth, there was a sign that said, free drinks tomorrow. Right. And the bar owner loved it because all these groups of guys would come in, on their holidays. They go, free drinks tomorrow. Yeah, lads, free drinks tomorrow. And they come in tomorrow and they go, free drink. Yeah, tomorrow. And it reminds me of Spurs because it feels like tomorrow, the future we're building for, can somebody give me a date when that needs to arrive? Because I just can't keep... I can't keep humouring fans that have probably supported the club 20 years less than me, seem far less hurt, and keep telling me that I'm ungrateful because we keep signing average footballers.
Do you know what it feels like? Do you know what I feel like we're doing right now? And the only way I'll change my mind is if we go and buy 2 top draw players, centre back and attacking mid, but top. If that happens, I'll change my entire opinion. But right now, this is how I feel. I feel that we've got this way of get a manager in that can suck blood out of a stone, and that is all we need to win silverware. Mm-hmm. And we go through managers doing this. We spend a bit of big money once in a while. None of them have worked out. None of our big money signings have ever worked out. And we never truly fully back the manager, but we do enough to keep enough fans pleased, but we also keep a significant amount questioning us. Yeah. So what they've done now, I think, is they've got Conte. They know what they've got to do for this guy to win silverware. They know what players they need to bring in. But they just want to prove to themselves. It's almost like an ego thing. They want to prove to themselves our way is the right way, though. If we can just suck a bit more blood. And what we've done now is we've brought a manager who's elite at sucking the blood out of a stone. Whereas... Yeah. The teams like Liverpool, City, Chelsea, they don't suck blood out of a stone. They buy quality stones. They buy gems. Not stones, they buy gems. We buy stones and want to suck blood out of it. Yeah.
So, what is the aim of elite sport?
The aim of elite sport is to deliver profits, sell maximum number of kit shirts. That's to win. It's always to win, man. Always.
Right.
Just quickly, lads, let me read this out. So first of all, thank you very much. This is week number 3 on Savva Wright Live Tonight, featuring Stelios, and we've just hit 200 viewers for the first time. So thank you very much. What I would say is 200 viewers, not even at 100 likes. Can I please ask one massive favor? Can I get one big push to get 6 more likes, get to 100? And would 7 of you be so kind to please press the subscribe button to help me hit my targets? The more targets I hit, the more money for charity I make. Hitesh Villani, thank you very much for the super chat. He said, evening lads, just come online. Savva, Henry and Stel, are we all good? We are all good. We are. Yeah, I speak for us all. I think we're good. Guys, look, I want to move on from Tottenham Hotspur. I don't want this to be a Tottenham show. At the end of the day, it is what it is. If people are happy, then they're happy. If people aren't, then they're not, and that's absolutely fine. Yeah, Danny, you're invited to my caravan party. Absolutely. Listen, I thought that was quite a good analogy, but I've got so many analogies with Tottenham Hotspur that what I love, guys, just before I move on, is if I put out a morning question like I do on YouTube, and I get quite a lot of interaction, and I like to interact with everyone, and I'll always get someone that says, "Oh, you're ungrateful, I'm unsubscribing." And you're like, wow, that's good. But then I get loads of comments that go, buzzwords, patience, building, process, project. Look, my worst saying from any Spurs fan, if Conte wants them, I want them. I'm 39 years of age. I've got my own brain. I've got my own mind. Right? If everyone is telling me that one of the best managers in world football selected this 6, plus the pie, plus the Goldie or whatever his name is, right? Then we are seriously on a different path than lots of you fans who think we're challenging, because this is not a challenging team. Guys, I want to talk about the weekend's Premier League games, and thank you to the 3 people who just subscribed to me. I want to talk about the games. Let's start with the Friday night football. Okay, Stel, I'll let you go first. Crystal Palace versus Arsenal at Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace had a relatively good season last year compared to where they were before on Hodgson. Completely changed their philosophy. Had some really good results. Arsenal had a very up and down season. They 4 or 5 games in a row, they'd win, then they lose 3 in a row. Made some good signings. What do you think? Palace at home, Arsenal away, Arsenal smashing teams for fun in pre-season. Can they transfer that? Are Palace going to be too good at home on a Friday night? What do you reckon?
I think it's going to be a draw. I think that. Yeah, I think it's going to be a draw because they've losing Gallagher's a massive blow. He was so good for them last season. They haven't got him now. And what Palace have done is they've actually bought a lot of players, some good ones as well, but they've really loaded up defensively. So I think they're going to be a bit more pragmatic against Arsenal, which means they're going to really test Arsenal's ability to break a team down. I know pre-season Arsenal were ripping teams and smashing teams, but Arsenal always have a good pre-season. And what I said to fans when I was talking to them about it was, don't worry about pre-season because there's no pressure pre-season. Let's see how teams perform when the pressure comes. Now, it's game week 1. The pressure begins. And then let's see what Arsenal do now. The pressure's on. If they go away to Crystal Palace and beat them 3-0, it's a statement. Mm-hmm. If Crystal Palace...
sorry. I love that.
Never-ending reason. So, it's exactly it. So
they shouldn't have called it all or nothing.
It's nothing. I think they're going to draw. I don't think Arsenal will lose. I don't think they will lose because they're confident. They're going into the game with confidence. But I don't think Palace are going to do what they did to Arsenal last year either. Because I think just looking at the players they've bought, I don't think they're that quite the same team. So, I'm going to go for 0-0 or 1-1.
Okay, 0-0, 1-1. Henry, have you got any different? Okay, you have got a different opinion to this. What are you going with? The Arsenal? Are the Eagles going to do it? What are you thinking?
Palace 2, Arsenal 0.
Really?
Oh,
Yep.
okay. Okay. Is this your Spurs hat on, or is this you just?
That's football brain. Arsenal have a terrible record at 2 football stadiums in the Premier League. Selhurst Park and is Brighton's the Vitality Stadium? Is it the Vitality?
Yeah.
I think it is.
Who's
They
that, sorry?
are horrendous. I think Brighton Stadium is Vitality. Is it called the Vitality?
No. That's the Amex.
Bournemouth play at the Vitality.
Yeah,
Whatever it's called. Anyway, Brighton and Palace, they always struggle. Under Wenger, under Arteta. And this is a manager that's finished 8th and 5th and spent, wait for it, £370 million. Any top manager, they would be in a title race. They would be in a fucking title race. He is an awful coach.
Or sacked.
Or sacked. Pandemic Pep at the Reign. Give him a new deal, a £2 million pay rise.
What'd you call it? What'd you call
Pandemic
it?
Pep. He's a terrible football coach, mate. Honestly, he is.
Do you know what, Henry? Do you know what I just really hope, right? If Arsenal finish above Spurs at the end of the season,
They won't. I'm telling you now.
I am clipping that moment, right? And that's going to be the intro to my show. I'm clipping that.
The 3 things that Arsenal
Don't make a bet on it. Don't make
the
a
3
bet.
things that Arsenal don't have that Tottenham have. Right? 1 is a good manager. 2 is a bagsman. They don't have a player on that pitch who can score 20 goals a season. Kane and Son. And you might say, yeah, they can get the goals from everywhere else.
Jesus ain't bad. Jesus ain't bad.
I think he's going to shock a lot of people, lads.
We'll see when we see. Listen,
if you cut the supply to Jesus, they got nothing. Because pre-season, I watched all their games. Everything goes through Jesus. If he gets injured, suspended, or teams shut down the supply, Arsenal are in trouble. Mark my words.
Let's see what the Brazilian Darren Bent does. Like, let's actually see what he does. Because I'm telling you now, you haven't got De Bruyne and Bernardo Silva around. He's got Granit Xhaka and Odegaard. It's a different kettle of fish.
Just quickly, Henry, let me read this super chat. Hello, Faz. I know we don't agree on a lot of predictions, on a lot of our opinions, but you're always polite, so welcome back to the channel. And thank you for the super chat. Faz, if it's okay with you, I'm going to star this question, which in YouTube world means I'm going to save it for the end and bring it back. Because if we get into a conversation about top 4 now, we will never get through all of the results. So I will bring this back before the end of the show. But thank you very much. Go on, Henry.
Just quickly, power to the people. How am I chatting absolute shite?
1 minute.
Okay.
1 minute, Henry. Henry, you didn't finish your 3rd point. So the first one was we got a better manager.
Better manager, talisman, and they don't have a centre back. And I mean, I know you're going to say Saliba, and I know you're going to say Gabriel.
Mate, Saliba's good. He's really good,
They don't have an R&R centre back, and what R&R means is Rolls Royce. They don't have one. We'll see about Saliba, but just quickly, I'm going to get in a rant now, right? Because this really fucking pisses me off.
I love a rant.
I'm trying absolute shite. So let's rewind to 2018. Arsenal sacked Unai Emery, right? Good evening this, good evening that, and they even tried to bully him the other day when he got off the Villarreal boss. They told him, they went, do you know what? See you later, Emery. You're football shit. You're not good enough. So Emery went, all right, okay. I'll prove you're wrong. I'm going to go to a team the size of Burnley in Spain, a team that's got a population fan base of under 100,000, right? I'm going to go in the Europa League with Tottenham rejects like Juan Foyth, right? Arsenal rejects like Coquelin, Serge Aurier, Danny Piero is about 48. Who else have they got in their team? A Bournemouth reject in Danjuma, and he knocks out Arsenal. And then he beats Man United. If you give Unai Emery £350 million, they would be in a fucking title race.
Can I just
get on last season, by the way? In this, how did they get on last season? They got slapped 3-0.
When we get to West Ham, are you going to have a similar rant about Jarrod Bowen? I know you love.
Just quickly, this Crystal Palace beat Tottenham and Arsenal both 3-0 last season at Selhurst Park on a Friday night. No,
we were woeful under Nuno though. Like we were like, that's the worst I've ever seen Spurs. Arguably.
Big up, Danny. Do you know what? Stell, when people always say, if you could have 5 dinner guests, living, dead, or whatever. Henry's would definitely be Unai Emery, and
Do you know what? If Conte
Jared
gets sacked
Bowen.
tomorrow, if Conte gets sacked tomorrow, my first name will be Unai Emery. People say,
Okay,
"Oh, the football shit," but in a Europa League with Unai Emery, right, you've got a very, very good chance. And let's be honest,
so
Europa League is where we could be next season.
So let me just check, and I'm gonna write these down. All right. So I'm gonna write these down, and Stel, you can join us again next week. Palace versus Arsenal. So Stel is going 1-1.
Yeah, go 1-1.
Draw. Okay.
Yeah, draw.
Stel's going 1-1. Henry's going
2-0
2-0 Palace.
Zaha with a brace.
And Savva. This guy, I'm going to go. I think Arsenal are going to win this one 3-1. I think. Yeah.
So we're all completely different.
I think they're going to win it 3-1. But do you know what? I will caveat and say whatever predictions we give on day one, there's nothing to base it off, right? There's no. It's difficult to say. Just quickly, we've got a couple of really ugly guys that have just joined the chat. Here's one of them. Bob has said, "Good up, you beautifully average-looking people. Palace 3-0. Danny's interested in having a caravan. He's having Henry's dinner party at the caravan. Henry lives 30 seconds away from a caravan park in Essex. I'm reliably informed.
Can I say if
go on.
If Arsenal don't win, right? If Arsenal don't win their first game against Palace away, if they lose, their fans are going to go into absolute meltdown. You know that they're going to lose it.
Yeah, but still, look at Arsenal's window, right? Let's break it down. Zinchenko is a great signing, but he's a jack of all trades, master of none, right? Is he a left back? Is he a centre mid? Is he a wing back? Is he a winger? No one really knows, right? They've signed Vieira just because of their old player. Nobody knew about this guy.
He's injured.
And Vieira sat on the bench all last year at Porto, right? Then they've got Saliba back. You might say he's a good defender. Fair enough. And they brought Gabby Jesus. One injury to Gabby Jesus, and they've got.
I said that. I did say if Jesus, if for whatever reason Jesus isn't in the
pandemic
game.
Pep at the reins, I'm telling you, with fucking the seaside Eric Dyer and Ben White, they are going to flop. I'm telling you now.
Okay, let's just say. Do you know what?
I hope you're right. Listen, I hope you're right. I want you to be right.
But it's the surnames. Usually it is.
Guys, let's move on from Crystal Palace versus Arsenal. As Bob said, the Arsenal fan TV is always great when they lose. I've got to admit, I know it puts money in Robbie's pocket, but it is a must watch, watching them absolutely lose their minds. Just quickly, there are 204 of you in the chat and only 112 likes. What did we do to offend the other 90 of you? Come on, guys, press that like button. And I need 4 more subscribers. Surely 4 of you right now can just quickly subscribe.
It's Henry. He's having arguments with people in the comments.
Why is
Mikel Arteta in the chat? He's saying
free the right side, but they have Rob Holding steady the back line. Free the right side. The only thing steady about Rob Holding is his new hairline he got from fucking Turkey, mate. That's the only thing. And Gabriel. That's the only thing fucking pony.
Can I just say, I think that's one of the best names I've seen on the show. The Spurs detective. I think that's fucking great.
I talk to the Spurs detective. I love that name on Instagram. He's a good lad. I like him. If you're on Instagram, go and follow him. He does a lot of content. Let's move on.
I might start a new one actually. Cool. I might change my name to Sherlock Spurs.
Do you know what? I've seen some great usernames in the last few days. I've seen Savva Talks Arsenal, and do you know the best thing about that, lads, is I'm live on a stream, right? And people are messaging me going, is that you? I'm like, why would it be me? Why would I troll myself?
My favourite one is Stelios Noncios. That's a cracking account.
Oh,
and do you know what?
You know when you think, I found it.
Henry's lost it.
I found it a
Stelios
pain in
Nonsense.
the arse, Stel.
I've got quite a few followers on that one. It's doing all right.
Guys, I tell you what, right? Somebody messaged me yesterday and said, I think one of your mods has blocked me. So I said, okay, let me go in and check in my blocked. In your community in YouTube.
Yeah.
Right, I've only been going 13 weeks. I've got 400 people blocked with Nancy Savva, Savva the rapist, Savva likes 14. Like, just, you're thinking, if this is the same person, that is a lot of downside. Stop laughing. It's not funny. But honestly,
it's finished me.
Right, guys, let's move on. Let's move on. So the next game, I'll start with you, Stelios Nonsius.
Is that full of Liverpool? Is it full of Liverpool?
God.
God. Sorry. Serious face. All right, serious face.
It is the lunchtime game, and it is Fulham, newly promoted Fulham, at home to the runners-up of the league and Champions League, Liverpool. I mean, still
4-0 Liverpool. 4-0 Liverpool.
I was going to say,
can you? Come on, not that.
They're going to batter them. They're going to batter them. 4-0. Mate, did you see they beat City 3-1?
Yeah, but not 4-0.
But what? Not against 4-0. Fulham. Okay, I'm going 4-0. I'll let Henry. Let's see what Henry says. I'm going 4-0 Liverpool.
2-0 Liverpool.
Aaron, just quickly, welcome to the club, mate. I think we should start taking it as a badge of honour now. I think the easiest insult to anybody, isn't it?
I got told about a sex offenders list.
It's mad, isn't it? Listen, Aaron, big up to yourself, mate.
Why do people instantly assume? Someone's called me Henry Wrong TV. That's not even funny, is it?
Henry Wrong TV.
Henry, do you remember when we were talking the week before I started my show, and we was talking about names for my show, and you helped me get to Savva Talk Spurs? What I didn't think about at the time was having the word Savva Talks leaves me open to add any word you want after it. And I get it. Savva Talks shit. Savva Talks mums. Savva Talks this. Savva Talks that.
Yeah, but Savva, whatever you do, they'll find a way. Like, you could just have your name, right? Savva.
Yeah.
Just go with Savva. But then they'll just put whatever they want after it. Savva, cunt. Savva, knob. Savva, paedophile. Savva, raping. Yeah. Whatever you do, they'll just find a way. So
all we're being told off by party after party. Sorry, party after party. Let's get back to football. So, Stel, 4-0? Are you seriously going 4-0?
Yeah, 4-0. Are they away or home?
Away. It's at Fulham.
Sorry. Yeah, 4-0. Yeah.
Okay, Stel's going 0-4. Henry, can you provide any sort of defence for Fulham? First game back in the Premier League. Can they cause an upset? Can they take advantage of the fact that that it is the first game of the season? Are Liverpool already in their stride after the win against Man City? Defend Fulham for me, please.
I don't really think you can put much of a defence up, but one thing I will say is Fulham will make it very, very hard for Liverpool to break them down. But I think once they get one goal, they can run away with it. I think it's going to be one of those games where a lot last year, Liverpool really struggled.
Stelly nonce.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think they're really gonna take try and take the game to Liverpool, but I think 2-0. I think what Matthew Emerson said there, yeah, Fulham 0, Liverpool 2. Liverpool should win this and will win this, but I don't think they're gonna. If they put 4 or 5 past Fulham, I'll be very surprised. But this is one of the best teams in Europe we're talking about.
The fact that you've just said that at the end, would you be surprised then? I mean, let's be fair, right? I agree with you. I don't think it's going to be a complete battering. However, if it went in at half-time, Liverpool 3, Fulham 0, Salah's got a brace and Diaz has got one, would anyone look at that and go, "Oh, that's surprising"?
No, you wouldn't. But you've got a valid point there. But I think because it's the first game of the season, if it was played in October, right, I'd be like, yeah, Liverpool 3-4-0. But it's a first game, early nerves.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Fulham will be happy to be back in the Premier League, but you know, Liverpool will get the job done.
Can you imagine, lads, if Fulham do beat Liverpool, this is our year. See, Liverpool are crap. This is Spurs' year. I can already see it.
Let's see what we do against Southampton first. They've bought a lot of good youngsters. Southampton. They've bought some good young players. Believe you me, they're no. And we saw what happened. Listen, I think we will beat Southampton, but let's see.
What do you think the odds? One question, quickly. What do you think the odds on Southampton to beat Tottenham are?
The bookmaker. It's got to be way out there, man. I think the media right now are loving Spurs in terms of the hype, the Conte.
What odds? 2-1, 3-1, 4-1, 5.
No, I think you get good odds.
8-1.
Stel, just quickly.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't want to take this one. I want you to take this one. Nick Brown has said, "I love Sav and Stel. I thought he was going to compliment us." Then he went on to say, "So funny in the way they think we should buy big and buy less. Buying too many players is not good. We need to focus on building a team over a further 2 years." Just quickly, Stel, actually, before I've said you can have this, Nick, you do realise you have contradicted yourself in your first two sentences. You have said that Stel and I think we should buy less players. Then you have gone on to say buying too many players is not good. Which one is it? Stel, we're building another team for another 2 years.
Nick, all I'll say to you is this, right? Conte needs to sign a long-term contract then. It's that simple. If this is a project, he hasn't come in to win trophies, get us over the line ASAP before Kane and the Son turn 65. And you know, we're going to win trophies with our best two players in their prime. It's got to be done now.
That never gets taken into account still.
It's because everyone's just telling you fake positivity. It's fake positivity.
But all these people that are telling you it's a 3 to 5 year plan, Harry Kane and Heung-Min Son, they're 29 and 30.
Well, technically speaking, Conte's gone at the end of this season because the contract's up. So he's got to sign. He's good. Trust we're going to fuck it up probably. Yeah. If Conte signs a long-term contract, then maybe I could begin to think this is going to be more of a project.
Why are you writing in capital letters?
Kyle is shouting at us that we will beat Southampton. We're going to get to the Spurs Southampton game in a bit. Don't worry. Matthew is saying, "Still, this is what I've been saying. People are writing us off, but we've been playing free at the back. I think you will struggle to break us down." Let's move on.
Southampton. Is that a Southampton fan?
Yes, I think so.
Mate, yeah. Can you comment and tell us? Obviously, a quick comment. How do you rate your signings? Because I've looked at your young players. I think you've actually bought some good players. Let us know what you think.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so Henry, what was the score you were going for in the end?
What was that of Liverpool or
Fulham Liverpool?
Fulham Liverpool. 2-0 Liverpool.
2-0 Liverpool. Okay, and I'm going to go with. I think Fulham will score one, but I think Liverpool will get 4. I think it will be 4-1. Listen. Fulham may sit back. Fulham may sit deep, but Liverpool's attacking options are frightening.
I think Liverpool are going to struggle to score 2.
Forget what your mate Will says. Darwin Núñez.
I'm not taking football out, but Tottenham out. I just think I don't know. I've got a feeling it's going to be really hard for Liverpool, but I think they will win 2-0.
Okay, I've gone 4-1. Right, the next game, Henry. I'll start with you this time. Is the great big game. It's the biggest game of the Premier League weekend. It's Bournemouth versus Aston Villa. You've got, I don't know why I said that. You have got Scotty Parker bringing up his Bournemouth team. I believe they've just signed Neto from Barcelona. Did I see that right? The goalkeeper?
The Brazilian keeper, yeah.
They signed Neto. They've also
I thought you meant Neto from Wolves for a minute. I was like, all right, steady on there.
No, more like Neto, the supermarket, if anyone remembers those days. Bournemouth v Villa. Villa sort of came out the traps earlier than anyone else, Henry, right, in the transfer market. I think they've done like 4 deals before the season had even finished. That's what it felt like. Slowed down since. Gerrard's had them for a pre-season. I wasn't impressed with anything he did with them, if I'm really, really honest. Tricky game for them away at Bournemouth at the Vitality, or a nice game to have a team that's just come up.
I'm going to go 1-0 Bournemouth. I'll be completely honest. I'm going to go for an unpopular opinion again. I don't rate Steven Gerrard as a manager.
As a player?
Oh, come on, as a player, he was like... But
let's just see how we can get people triggered in the comments.
So he's done Diego Carlos, good player. Kamara, good player. Coutinho on a permanent. And they've signed... Who's the other one?
Was it... they got Kamara, Coutinho, Carlos. There was one other, wasn't there? There was another player. But yeah, okay.
I think Bournemouth are going to win. I've got a feeling. They didn't have a fantastic season last year, Villa. I think Bournemouth are going to make it hard again, same as Fulham. All the teams, besides Forest, all the promoted teams are actually playing at home, which is rare. Normally they're away. So I think Bournemouth will be up for it. If you're Bournemouth, you'd be confident, surely.
I mean, you could have more difficult games to start, right? I mean, let's be fair. When you're coming up, what you don't want, if you're Bournemouth, you don't want your first game to be away at Man City or Liverpool, do you? You don't want to get crushed 6-0 and straight away you're -6 and your players are going, right, welcome to the league. Look, Villa, for me, I'll go next. For me, Villa they've got the quality in their squad, and that's why I was so disappointed with Gerrard. I thought that they just looked like a team that he took away all their width, tried to go narrow to get in Buendia and Coutinho, couldn't quite get that right, tried to get both Ings and Watkins in, didn't quite get that right, and it didn't kind of blend, but there's something lacking at Villa, and I don't know if it is just the manager or what, but I'm going to go with a 2-2 draw.
Not bad result.
And I'm going to go with Dominic Solanke to get both. And then I'm going to give the media are going to go on a big hype about if Solanke keeps this up, he could be playing for England in the World Cup. You know how it happens. You know what the world is like. Stel, what are you saying? The big game at Bournemouth.
2-0 to Aston Villa. I think Bournemouth are going to get a wake-up call. Welcome back to the Premier League. Scott Parker's never really been good in the Premier League. I just think it's that one step too much for him. Maybe he'll be better this time round. I think people just kind of... On their day, Villa are good. I remember when we went up to Villa, we beat them, I think it was 4-0.
Yeah.
But for 45 minutes, we couldn't get out of our penalty box. Right?
Yeah,
Mate, it was so lucky. It was 1-0 at half time. And I feel that if Villa get the first goal, they'll just win it 2-0.
I think Bold Moose has got a point there. Villa don't really have a game plan in any game.
Yeah, I don't know what type of team they are, Henry. What is Gerrard? What's his... You know when managers have a blueprint? You know how Conte plays. You know how Tuchel plays. Can we take from the way his Rangers teams battered everyone in Scotland as his style, or...
It's kind of like slow build-up. Lots of crosses, low crosses.
I think, guys, I don't think he doesn't have a style. I think that when it's not working, he doesn't know how to adjust. I'll give an example. When they were basically battering us and they couldn't score and we're 1-0 up, it's like, now what do you do? And what he did was he left a massive gap deep and we just played long balls and just picked him off. I just don't think he's good at in-game management when he needs to change it when it's not working for him. But in terms of how they play, when they get going...
a wonderful fiance and taking my missus a fan.
I think when they get going, I think Aston Villa can play. I think they can play, but they're just inconsistent. They're inconsistent, which is why they're a mid-table club.
A game like Bournemouth would cert someone like Coutinho. I think he'll do well in that game, but I don't know. I don't know how I feel about Villa. They're not mid-table. They're not relegation. They're not European team. They kind of
Where did they finish last year? Where did they finish last year? Let me check.
12th.
I'll tell you now.
I want to say 12th.
Last year they finished.
We're only 20 likes off 150, by the way. 20 likes. If you're watching,
They finished 14th. They finished 14th.
Yeah, 14th.
But Henry, 3 points separated 14th to 10th. So I think they're a mid-table club. I don't think they're worse than that. I don't think that. They should be beating Bournemouth, right? They should be beating Bournemouth.
Yeah, I agree. The thing is, I think Bournemouth have signed. They've signed someone who's actually quite decent. I can't remember what his name is, the midfielder. But I feel like Bournemouth will get the win.
The problem playing Bournemouth is that stadium is the old school shed on the pitch, compact vibe, and if the fans get going, it's difficult for any team that goes there. It's one of those grounds. It's just what they call it, a potential banana skin. Where I think that's the correct term.
Frank wanted to say hello. Say hello to Frank.
Hello, Frank.
Frank's a Bournemouth fan.
Can he play attacking mid?
No, he's left-footed, and apparently we've already got 3 of them. Come on, leave me alone.
Play attacking yeah.
What's the next game?
Don't know. Savva's doing house duties.
Mate. Well, the missus has gone to bed. She's like, "It's hot. Can you bring the fan up?" And I'm like, "I'm streaming." And then the dog wants to cut. The next game, gentlemen, is an interesting one. Leeds, who have lost their 2 best players, arguably, in Rafinha and Phillips, at home to Wolves, who, off the top of my head, I can't think of too much Wolves have done, unless anyone can name it. I can't really think.
I'll go first. I'll go first. 3-0 Leeds.
Wow.
I
think Leeds are going to have a really good season.
I mean, we are talking about a Wolves team here, Henry, that defend very well, don't they?
But Leeds have signed the new, I think he's a right back or left back, American guy. Will tell you, obviously. He's a top player.
Is that Aronson?
Part of the Leipzig group. Leipzig don't have shit players. Haaland was part of the Leipzig group. Mane was part of the Leipzig group, or the Red Bull group. Kimmich was part of the Red Bull group. I think Leeds will win this. I'm confident. I actually think Jesse March is a good coach as well.
Henry, you need to be more patient, all right? Be patient, Henry.
What I'm saying is we need to build carefully over the next couple of years, and we need to be patient. I watched Conte's last interview. Can I just say, Nick, I've been alive since 1996, right? So it makes me 26 years old. You're good at maths. And we have been patient for those 26 years. The 2 other gentlemen on the stream are both over the age, Savva nearly is, over the age of 40. And they're still patient. When does it get to a point where we just go, what the fuck are we doing?
In a couple of years' time, how old are Kane and Son? How old's Perisic? In a couple of years? Now?
33.
Lloris. How old's Lloris in a couple of years?
35.
We can't this waiting. Nah. Yeah. Now.
I think Leeds. I think Jesse March is going to be.
Has to be now.
I think I actually rate Jesse March, and I think they'll have a good season. That Greenwood guy that I've got in my fantasy team, Savva, you'll see. You were saying,
we were looking at each other's fantasy league teams today. And by the way, let me know in the comments, is anyone interested in joining my Savva Talk Spurs YouTube fantasy league?
Why don't you put a link out, Savva? Just put a link out.
I was going to. If people are interested, that is exactly what I'm going to do. There's 45 of us in there. At the end of the season, the person that wins will win 2 Spurs shirts and 2 tickets to a Spurs game. And the person that finishes bottom will win an Arsenal shirt. I can supply that. Of course you can. Listen, Bob, that was my aim. I knew we were talking about Leeds. I've got a dog. Dogs wear Leeds. Yeah, I get you. Well done, Bob Spur.
I think Leeds will have a good season though.
But to kick off the season with those new players free, yeah.
When it's least expected.
Who's their striker, Henry?
Let's be honest, Conor Cody might not start against Leeds. All the uncertainty about his move.
Who's up front for Leeds? Who's the goal scorer? Bamford's always injured.
Greenwood. Youngster. Trust me, Leeds are going to have a good season.
I don't know, man.
3-0 Leeds.
All right, Stel, give me the opposing view.
Jesse March is a very, very, very attacking coach.
No, I like Jesse March as well. His background, the work he's done in Europe is good. He's a good coach. I agree. I just feel that they haven't got the players, but Wolves. It's so hard to score against them, man. Away from home, they've got one of the best records away from home defensively.
Yeah, but it's
they have, and they haven't lost any players.
Season, Leeds, I think they can have a good year. I think
they're going to draw. I'm going draw again. I don't know the score. I'm just going to say draw.
No, sorry, mate. I'm not having that. I need some concrete figures from you.
I'm going to go for a
0-0.
Nah, I think 1-1.
1-1. Okay, Stel's going 1-1. I'm going to go 2-1 to Wolves. I think Leeds have got it's a lot of players to settle in. I don't see a lot of firepower. And I don't know. Wolves are just organised. They're an organised team.
Yeah,
do they have enough goals themselves?
Are they going to be organised without Conor Cody potentially being in there?
Well, I mean, look, considering we're talking about the game in like less than 48 hours, I think he'll still be a Wolves player. Just quickly, for anybody, I have just put in the chat the link to the Samsung Spurs Fantasy League. I'm going to say this right now. I back myself fully to finish in the bottom three. I am dreadful at Fantasy League. I never look at form. I forget to change the team. And so please join in. The winning person at the end of the season does get 2 Spurs shirts, 2 tickets to Spurs games. Jay Yid, you are now my favourite person. Absolutely. Unlike Stel, who cuts his grey hair off, I am sporting my natural hair.
Actually, my hair on my head isn't grey. It's just receding. Can I, King in the Indies says that Jimenez is injured for Wolves, apparently.
I mean, that's interesting. Here you go. Bob Spur, Henry. Bob Spur has said Leeds finishing 17th will be a good season for them. Henry thinks they're going to win the league.
I think they'll finish 11th, 12th. I did my predictions the other day, but I think Leeds will do well.
Look, Leeds' biggest problem last season was they were just gun-ho attack, zero attention to defending, right? Jesse March came in and brought a bit of balance, and they stayed up. So if they can go into a season where they don't just neglect their defensive duties and they trade off a bit of the attacking to also think about defending, then they will have a better season than last year. They will, but they have lost 2 very good players as well. They have lost 2 very good players. So I don't know.
I mean, that just goes to show. I mean, I predict Wolves to win 2-1 and they've got no fit strikers. So Ruben Neves better get his shooting boots on, eh? Let's move on then. Now I'm not being sarcastic here. This one really intrigues me. Newcastle United at home versus Forest, who have just come up. You've got Forest, who are going to start this season a million miles away from the team that started last season. And Forest, who have signed 12 new players. Some really good signings in there. Jesse Lingard. They signed... Sorry?
I did a little Jay Lings thing, but then I said, no, I can't do that. I'm joking. It's embarrassing, isn't it?
Really? Yes, it was. But, we'll just pretend that never happened. They've bought in... the fullback. They bought in the fullback from Liverpool. Someone remind me of his name.
Williams.
Nico Williams. They've brought in the striker from Germany. They're looking at William Carvalho. They've brought in a fair few players. Newcastle, are they going to hit the ground running? Are they going to be this team that we all think they're going to be, or are they a few years away from that? And can Forest spring a surprise? Would it be a surprise?
I think Newcastle are quite a few years away. I'm really surprised by the lack of transfer business in Newcastle. I thought they were going to do quite a lot. They've hardly done anything. So, whereas Forest, the complete opposite, they've done loads. Forest are one of those teams that are just going to graft. Do you remember how Brentford started last season? That's going to be Forest. They're going to be one of those teams that just freedom, just go for it. What we've got to lose. But it's away. That's the only thing, is that it's away. You know, Brentford won their first game last season. They were at home. They beat Arsenal, didn't they? Oh, Newcastle at home. Who wants to go there, man? Who wants to go there? Do you know what? I'm probably going to say Newcastle win, just 2-1. Newcastle 2-1.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
but Forest will be good. There'll be good value for money then. Against Newcastle.
Okay. Newcastle 2-1. Henry, can you put another spin on it? Do you agree?
No, I do agree. 2-1. Jesse Lingard to get the first goal, and then Newcastle to get 2 more.
Is Jesse Lingard like the Forest version of Jared Bowen for you? Are you?
Lingard's a good player. I don't get why everyone hates him. On a free transfer at Spurs, it was a no-brainer.
Mm-hmm.
Absolute no-brainer.
Okay, just before I give my prediction, guys, let's try and get to 150 likes. We're currently on 137. Also, please subscribe. I am 3 away from my target for tonight. Please also subscribe to Tottenham Away and to Henry Wright TV. I'm going to go with, I think Forest are going to, a lot of players to bed in immediately. I think Newcastle will win 3-0.
Oh, really? Slapping.
I think Newcastle, I just think Guimaraes had time to settle in. St. Maximin's still there. I think with Callum Wilson fit, it's a huge thing for Newcastle to keep him fit. Sven Botman, Trippier, Matt Targett, Nick Pope in goal. Shelby's a nice passer of the football. I think they've got a decent team. A couple of more signings and they can start thinking about top 7. So we'll see. Nick Brown is back. Said, I'm 60, raised in Spain and support Barcelona and Spurs due to the connection. I was actually born in Tottenham. I spent 17 years without Barca winning and they threw a load of money.
Yeah, but look at... no, it's just fair play, man. He's just sharing his life, his football life. I think the only thing I'll say, Nick, is 17 years without Barca winning, and but their history speaks for itself, right? Their history is just it's immense. It's immense.
Mm-hmm. Just people have been saying it's easier with just the code rather than the whole login. So here is the code. Please feel free to join. The next game, gentlemen, is just a small one in North London. Spurs versus Southampton. I'm
laughing because I just this is when you've got to be really, really honest, and this one it all goes for tits up. So go on.
I'm going to start and say that. And sorry if that chap is in the chat who supports Southampton, but if you are Conte. If you are waiting for the first day of the season to be drawn at home, Southampton, you've got to be fancying it. I'm not belittling anyone, but you've got to fancy us. I'm going to go 3-0. I will be if we don't win. I see it. I don't care if it's the first game of the season. It's failure because we need to make a statement and we need to set our stall out that White Hart Lane, sorry, I can't call it anything else, that White Hart Lane is a fortress. Yeah, we cannot be having teams like Southampton and Wolves, like they did last year, coming to our ground and taking 3 points. I'm sorry, it's not acceptable. 3-0, anything less than that, and I'm disappointed. Henry?
I've gone 4-1.
To Southampton?
Spurs. I think James Ward-Prowse will score a free kick. I think.
For sure.
I've gone a hat trick for Harry Kane as well.
Wow.
He hasn't scored a hat trick in the Premier League since 2017.
Does he not?
No.
What?
Is that
can't be right?
Because he basically played
2017, 2018 was the last Premier League hat trick he scored. Look it up.
He scored low. He always scores hat tricks.
He always gets a brace, but he never gets a hat trick. Look it up.
I'm Googling right now. Everybody in the chat, if you can find
unless he gets free kicks, unless he gets hat tricks in other competitions, and
he gets hat trick in the Champions League against Opawell. He's had a hat trick in the League Cup a couple of times, but a Premier League hat trick, I'm fairly sure it's 2017-2018 season.
You're probably right. It just doesn't feel right. That's all.
Harry Kane has scored 8 hat tricks in the Premier League. However, his last treble in the league came in December 2017.
Told you.
It does go on to say Kane is one of the best goal scorers of his generation. But that's a good stat. Listen, okay, so Kane...
I think you're right, though. There is no better team to be playing, at home.
It feels like we're belittling them, but let's be fair. If everyone's told me now that we've got Conte, they've had this Conte pre-season, there should be no reason why this lot don't come out the blocks, lads, flying. Can
we do 2 predictions, or do we have to do 1?
One.
Because part of me can smell a 1-1 here. And they're going to frustrate us, but
I've got to take your first answer still.
Yeah, I'm fucked then, aren't I? I'm going to say 3-1 Spurs, only because it pretty much is the team that ended last season is going to start this season, but with Perisic and possibly Longley, which is an improvement on those two areas.
Been declared fit as well.
I don't think he'll start, Henry.
I think he'll feature, though.
I think we're going to go Kulu, Son, Kane, Bentancur, Højbjerg, Perisic, Longley, Dyer, Romero, Lloris. I don't know who's going to go right back. That I've given up. I've absolutely given up on right back. But I think it wouldn't surprise me.
Daddy Conte's gone 5-0. 5-0, Daddy Conte.
Not the way we've been going
as well.
Not with our pre-season. I'd be surprised if it was. I think because pretty much the same team that ended last season, regardless of the 6 players we've signed, is going to start this season. I think they've got a flow. That group have got a bit of a flow about them. So I'm going to say 3-1 Spurs. But if it's 1-1, I won't be surprised.
Well, that backs up. Matthew Emerson has said, I agree. It's one of the toughest fixtures for us, but I could see us holding you to a draw.
So can I, mate.
It's one of those. I mean, I think I said to you the other day, Henry, didn't I? That
they beat us last year, didn't they? 2-0.
Guys, we were crap pre-season, right? I know I said earlier.
I agree.
Pressure's on now, and I think we play better when pressure's on. I don't think we're good when there's no pressure. The Conference Cup proved it. When the pressure's not there, we're just shit. But
party after party. You've got Google, mate. Google it and put it in the chat.
But I think I just think that
Chelsea have just signed Cucurella for £62 million.
See, they don't need him. They don't need that position.
£62 million.
Why have they signed him?
Well,
excuse me. Sorry. There's no favouritism. Henry gave a prediction that he thought Harry Kane would score a hat trick. So we Googled. Listen, people like you, party after party, make me die. You're trying to create a battle that wasn't there between Son and Kane.
To be fair, party after party, out of all the players pre-season, Harry Kane has looked the sharpest.
Exactly.
He really has. Everyone else has looked either off it or just shit. Well, not everyone, but most of them have.
It does make me laugh. I'll be called racist in a minute. It's fine. Greeks and Turks, they're the ones I hate the most. So let's move on then. We're all going for a Tottenham win. That's a joke, by the way. If anyone didn't get that, I am myself half Greek. Jesus.
Savva doesn't hate Greeks and Turks. It's just Chinese and Indians.
Jesus Christ. This is an interesting one. We'll go back to Chelsea a bit later about the Cucurella thing, Henry. But we'll talk about them right now as well. Everton at home without, I can't think of a striker at the club. I don't know if Rondon is still there, or they had that
Rondon
other
suspended.
player. I want to say, didn't they have? Funny enough, wasn't it? Didn't they have a Turkish striker?
Who's that?
Tosin.
He is, yeah. What a link!
He was crap. He was absolutely.
He's gone. They've got Simon Rondon, but he's suspended.
If I was better, I could have made a more seamless link there. Everton at home versus Chelsea. Lots being made that Chelsea haven't had a great pre-season. Everton
are losing that game all day long.
Right. Okay. Stel, do you want to kick us off then?
Yeah, I'm just going to say 2-0 Chelsea. I don't think it's going to be a good game, but I'm sorry.
Everton still. They've got Dele Alli.
All right, go on then, 2-2.
I just don't think you understand.
2-0, man. They're going to beat them. And I think Everton are in trouble. I think they're in shit. Richarlison saved them last year. He carried them when it mattered. They've lost him now.
Can I just say to people?
I'm not saying Richarlison's great, but for what he did for Everton towards the end of that season, and that's why all my Everton mates, I've got a few actually, I don't know how, but I have. Mm-hmm. All of them. Do you know what? I actually said, I'm going off on one here. I actually said to my mate Shami, who I mentioned earlier, what do you think of Richarlison? This is exactly what he said. He goes, don't underestimate what he can bring to your team. His work rate is amazing. His pressing's good. He's a fucking annoying player to play against, and he's effective, but he's going to frustrate the hell out of you. Be prepared to be frustrated. They've lost that player. They don't have that player now. So
yeah,
and I don't rate that Calvin Lewin. I don't rate him. I'm sorry.
I don't either. And he's out for 6 weeks. Just quickly, still, we're going to come back to this chat afterwards. But lots of people saying 62 million. He's good, but 62 million. I think the key thing here is, guys, is that Cucurella was in a very long contract, and this was one of those situations where, if you want our player, cough up. And Chelsea clearly do. 62 million is a lot of money, but Chelsea aren't worried by that, are they? It's not like us.
So who's going to play this, Savva? Ben Chilwell or Cucurella?
Well, this post here, I think, is probably the reason why they've gone to get Cucurella, right? Is that Ben Chilwell always gets injured.
Their combined left backs right now cost them £112 million, and we've spent half of that on 4 right backs who are all shit. Do you know what? And people say this is a great window.
I do think this is. I don't think he's. When I've watched Cucurella, he's not.
Doherty 10 million, average. Emerson 28, Spence 15.
He's not bang average. I think that's really, really harsh. He's a very good footballer.
Man City do not sign bang average footballers.
Mate, he's a good player. Anyone who says Cucurella's bang average, Cucurella can play.
I think
he stood out. He stood out when they played us this season, Cucurella. He did. He played well.
I mean, I've been having this back and forth with that. Is it Faz guy? This guy who, listen, this is one of them times I think you need to be careful, because when you look at those stats, you've got to remember he played for a Brighton team that don't score a lot of goals. You put him in this Chelsea team, and I think your belittling of this man is going to start to look very, very silly.
Savva, can I tell you? Do you know what? There's one thing with assists that always bothers me, and it always pops into my head when I see assists. When people use assists as a way to say, "Oh, this player's not very good." There was a season where Luka Modric, Ballon d'Or winning, Real Madrid multiple trophy excelling superstar Luka Modric. There's one season at Spurs where he got 4 assists. He created 96 goal scoring opportunities. 96. But because the strikers were so dog shit at a Bayern, only 4 assists registered. It completely, what's the word? It hides what Luka Modric was actually doing for the team. And then when he went to a team that did have the players that can finish, look what he became, man. Look what he became. Luka Modric is fantastic. So I don't know. Assists are always a bit. It's difficult.
Party after party. I feel like I don't want to be rude, but I feel like sometimes you don't think before you speak. First of all, when Chelsea spend over £60 million, it's okay, because Chelsea won't spend 60 million on Cucurella and then go, "Oh, that's it. We've got no more money." Spurs spent 60 million on Richarlison, and since then have done what? What have we done? Chelsea will spend 60 million on him. They'll then, if they can, get Fofana for 70 odd million. Right? They will also try and get X, Y, Z, and they'll keep putting down the bids of 60 million, my friend. You can't say that because I'm critiquing Richarlison at 60 million, that it's the same as critiquing Chelsea signing someone at 60 million. It's a completely different club, and they've got ambition. So
something else with Chelsea, right? They do two things that we don't. One is they'll waste 60 million on Timo Werner, but that doesn't put them off. All right, we're just going to spend 60 on Cucurella. We'll spend 100 million on Lukaku. Lukaku, absolute flop at Chelsea. They've shipped him out for 8 million, but they'll go and spend 70 million on Kai Havertz. They keep laying down the money until it works. But at Spurs, if we spend big and it flops, no, don't do that again. No. It clearly doesn't work. It doesn't work. And the other thing Chelsea do is when they sell a player, they get big money. They sold their goalie to was it Atletico or to Real Madrid for like 70 million. They sold David Luiz for 50 million. They sold Eden Hazard for 100 million. When we sell players,
Tammy Abraham, Tomori.
So they make the money on the sale to keep spending the big money. Whereas at Spurs, exactly. 100 million. Whereas at Spurs, we buy shit and then we try to sell it and we can't sell it. So, we can't get rid of Doherty, Emerson. I think Rodon's going to go for 8 million. We're lucky to make them. Ndombele, 60 million. We can't get rid of him. We can't get rid of him. Bergwijn. So I think when people call out Chelsea, look at how they actually operate and then look at us. And you'll see their formula works. Ours doesn't. And I'm not digging out Spurs. I'm not having to go at us because there's many clubs that do it the Spurs way. Many. Savva can dig us out more. But there's many clubs that do it the Spurs way. I just don't feel the way we do it can continue anymore if we're serious about winning trophies. That's all.
Still, nail on the head. This is the thing. Clubs, like you said, so many of the top clubs, they'll buy a player, it doesn't work out, and they go, all right, let's loan him out immediately or sell him immediately. We keep players for like 3 or 4 years, and fans back them in that time. And
the price completely collapses by then because they're not even playing.
Yeah, we say, am I watching the stream 2 months ago? We've sold Bergwijn and Rodon. Okay, Tommy, without being,
Bergwijn, but to be fair, Tommy, Bergwijn, we done well to get our money back. We really did, right? So you've picked the 1 out of the 10. But the others, talk to me about Ndombele, talk to me about Lo Celso, talk to me about Doherty, talk to me about Sessegnon, £30 million. No one's going to pay 30 million. Dele Alli, we practically gave him away for free. Harry Winks, no one's paying more than 15, 12 million.
Leicester apparently looking at Winks.
Stel, let's rattle through these scores because Henry needs to go soon, and then you and I can continue because I think me and you are a bit more night owls. Everton, Chelsea, Henry.
2-0 Chelsea.
2-0 to Chelsea. Same as okay, and I'm also going to go. I'm going to go 3-0 Chelsea. I think Everton are that bad. I don't see anything in them. Let's move on. 3 games to go. Leicester City, the team that don't buy players, versus Brentford, the team that lost Eriksen but have bought. I feel like I've seen them make some good signings, and off the top of my head, I feel like
haven't they just signed Dolberg?
Who?
Is it Dolberg or the Danish midfielder? That Dalberg?
No, not Dalberg. That's the forward. You're thinking of what's his name? Really good player.
Damsgaard.
That's the one. Yeah,
he's a good player.
Have they signed him?
15 million, I think, the other day.
Yeah, they bought Damsgaard. Yeah.
If they've got him, if they do get him, that's a very good player. And for 15 million, I would have taken him at Spurs. I'd have taken him.
No. Why? We can just buy Jack Clark.
It's fucking laughable.
Guys, Leicester v Brentford. Leicester, haven't signed anyone, got their squad fit though. Are we going to see from Leicester what we thought we were going to see last season? Give Estelle, Henry, you go first this one.
1-0 Brentford.
1-0 Brentford.
Ivan Toney. Penalty.
Very specific. 1-0 Brentford.
I fear for Leicester, big time.
Yeah?
I do fear. Yeah, a lot. I think with there's a lot of uncertainty on a lot of their squad. Who's going to be going goal for starters?
Well, they've got Ward and Everson, haven't they? Everson apparently was very good on loan at Preston. And I suppose at some point you've got to be given your chance. But
true.
All right, Stell. Henry's going for a 1-0 away win. Can you give any hope for Leicester?
Yeah, 2-1 Leicester. They're going to win it.
2-1 Leicester?
Yeah.
I also think Leicester will win 2-1 as well. I agree.
Listen, they've got Fofana. They got still got Maddison. They got Tillemans. They got Barnes. They got 2 strikers.
Vardy and Didi.
I'll be honest. I think Brentford have got a better coach. I think they're managed better. I think they're better tactically, and their shape is a lot better. And I think with all the uncertainty in Leicester's squad, I fear for them.
I think Brentford will be difficult at their home ground. I think away from home.
Yeah, I feel like this might be one of those where Leicester have been written off all kind of window, not buying a player, and it could just be that they turn up, get the job done, and we go, oh, hang on, they're not as bad as we thought. But I don't know, Leicester, like Stell said, when you list through that name, still there, Fofana, Soyuncu, Castagna, Herrera, and Didi, Tillemans, Barnes, Vardy, Maddison, Daka, Iheanacho. There's enough there.
Scary, yeah, it's a good squad.
Casante, the wing back.
Castagna,
yeah, he's not bad.
Castagna. Okay, let's quickly move on because I know Henry's going to fall asleep. Otherwise, he's only young. He's not used to staying up late. Still, he's not progressed past midnight. Still, I'll let you. Well, he just called us old. So, still, I'll let you go first on this one.
It's better than Noncios.
This is going to be an interesting game. Man United, first game under Ten Hag. Some of the football they've played in pre-season has looked, they've looked a lot better, just purely their shape and their tactics. Brought in a few players. I can't think off the top of the head that Brighton have done anything that jumps straight at me. Man U v Brighton at Old Trafford, first game of the season.
3-0 Man United. I think they're going to put them to bed. I really do. I think they're going to put them to bed. They've lost Cucurella. They've lost Bissouma. I think they've got problems. And they can't score goals. They've got no one up top that's good enough. I think Man United are just going to... Even if Ten Hag wasn't the manager, Ronaldo, Bruno Fernandes, it's going to cause problems. They're going to... Yeah.
Ericsson as well now.
Ericsson, freaking hell. 3-0.
So what? 3-0?
Man United, to win.
Yeah, no, I understood from your description.
I've gone 3-0 as well. I think United will. I think they're going to win comfortably. I'm in Stell's camp. I actually think, for some reason, Marcus Rashford's going to have a good season.
I'll tell you what. There's a player I forgot. Sorry, Emery. Van der Beek's going to be brilliant under Ten Hag. I wanted Van der Beek at top. Van der Beek, for me, is the player I wanted to replace Dele Alli. I was gutted he went to Man United. He went to Man United, completely ostracised. Mm-hmm. Under Ten Hag, mate, he's going to be brilliant.
We've seen him managed by Ten Hag, haven't we? And I remember what him and Frankie de Jong did to us. I feel like, again, he's been a victim of being completely mismanaged. Very good player. But I've gone for 2-0 Man United Brighton. I think Man U will be much better than last season.
I agree.
I'm not sure that they're ready to challenge top 4 unless they pull out 2 or 3 really big signings between.
They ain't got the squad, Savva. They ain't got the squad.
Yeah, I agree with you. So I'm going to go 2-0. The last game, and then we'll let you go, Henry, and Stell. We can continue chatting football if you've got time. West Ham United versus Manchester City. I mean, that's a game and a half, isn't it, for the first game of the season? Henry, City.
Are you ready?
Hang on. Hang on, let me do my bit.
I know he's going to say. He's going to say what I'm going to say. I know he's going to say.
I mean, City notoriously don't start the season well. West Ham at home in their rented caravan site. Give me a prediction, Henry.
West Ham 1, City 1. Jared Bowen.
Jared Bowen, I know.
I honestly think West Ham are one of the hardest places to go to. Right, look at their home record. Last year they beat Liverpool, Spurs, Chelsea. The only team to beat them was Arsenal and City. They beat and United draw. Got a late penalty from Ronaldo. But I think genuinely, West Ham are going to make it really, really hard. And I think they've actually got a number 9 now. West Ham actually have a striker.
Mm-hmm.
It's the first number 9 they've had in about a decade. But let's be honest, this is still Pep, so it wouldn't surprise you if they worked 3 or 4 past West Ham with it. But I think it's going to be 1-1.
I mean, Total Spurs TV is going for an away 6-1 win on the first day of the season.
That would be brilliant to see that.
Haaland with all 6. Can you imagine? I mean, still, Henry's gone 1-1. He's obviously put his boyfriend Jared Bowen to score the goal. Can you back against his lover? Can you? What's the?
Yeah, I'll let Henry have his own bromance. But out of all the scores I've predicted, this is the one you put money on, right? This is the one you put money on. West Ham's going to beat them 2-1.
Cool. Yeah.
And if you really want to cash in, put your money on Alvarez to be the goal scorer for Man City.
Jared Bowen brace and an Alvarez goal.
Don't know who's scoring for West Ham. I just know Alvarez for me. I said it the other day. Alvarez is going to do better than Haaland this season. I watched a lot of Alvarez 2 years ago, and I said to myself, "Oh my god." He was young, so it's hard to predict. I said, I'd love him to come to Spurs. I think no one's really talked about him. I think he's going to be brilliant this season. But West Ham are going to beat him. They're going to beat him.
I think what Alvarez is going to do, I think he's going to be the guy that a lot of the time City are 3-4-0 up in games, right? I think Alvarez is going to be that guy when they're 3-0 up and they make their subs. He will come on and just keep chipping away with the odd goal here, there, and everywhere. And I think he will get a very good return. But Haaland, you could even see the other day, he's a handful. He's an I mean,
he's going to be good, man. People that dismiss him are lunatics.
And Van der Beek is average. Van der Beek's average. I don't think he. I mean, I saw Van der Beek and Frankie de Jong rip Spurs apart. I just feel he's not really been given a go at.
People need to understand. Donny van der Beek grew up in the Ajax Academy. It is total football, one touch. You've got to be able to juggle the ball on both shoulders, both sides of the head, your legs, your thighs, your knees, every part of the body. Otherwise, at 16, you're out. You've got to be a baller, right? And if you play the football you were coached to play, you're going to be good. He went to Man United. Fucking awful under Ole. Awful. And they were even worse under Ragniak. Now they got a proper footballing manager. Donny van der Beek is going to surprise everyone. He's going to surprise everyone. He's a good football player.
Can we just...
Henry Bowden TV.
Sorry.
Henry Wrong TV.
I mean...
Henry Bowden TV.
Guys, you know the same person that earlier... just before I let you go, Henry, the same person earlier that I said makes me lose faith in human... in humans in general is like he's just like
what's he? What do you mean so far? The season ain't started. What do you mean so far? He's on a wind up. He's
He's played
party after party. What's that word you used earlier?
Merchant. Before the age of 22.
Use that word merchant. He's a wind up merchant, right? He's a wind up merchant.
He's got to be. I mean, can you imagine, right? Here's all I'm going to say, right?
So far, that's the bit that got me. So far.
Party off party. What I love about him, he is the eternal optimist, and I love that about people. I do think it's crazy because sometimes they don't have any backing in it. But he is the sort of party off party is the sort of person that I'm going to pluck a player out of thin air here, guys. He's the sort of player that if Luis Alberto, I don't know why he came to my mind, of Lazio, signed for Chelsea, he's crap. Can he do it in the Premier League? If he signed for Tottenham, he is amazing. Have you seen Luis Alberto? He's amazing. He's playing for Spurs. Conte wants him. Unfortunately, we have too many of them at our club. Henry, do you need to go, my mate?
Yeah, I am. I do. I have got to be up in 6 hours to do an airport run. So, yeah.
It's going to be all right, Henry.
I know it's going to be fine.
Stella and I live on about 4 hours sleep a night.
No, I normally do as well, but I don't want to get behind the vehicle like that.
I can go to 12:30, Savva. Then I've got a few bits to finish off.
Yeah, we'll go for another 30 minutes, then we can go. Henry, it's been an absolute pleasure. Next Wednesday, we will be able to discuss all these games and see whose results were right. By the way, I'm going for Manchester City 3, West Ham 0.
By the way, someone in the comments earlier asked, how does this work? Is it going to be, are you going to give points based on our predictions?
I haven't gone that deep into it.
Who cares? Who cares? All right.
I prefer bragging rights than a fictional point system. Henry, can you? I mean, I gave you like stage exit a minute ago, and you're still here. What do you want? What do you need from me?
You're on mute. Can't hear you, Henry. You look like a nutter just talking. Like
Henry Wrong TV.
You hear me now?
Yeah. Now you can, yeah.
I don't know
what Henry Wrong.
There, yeah. I'll see you later. Thanks for having me on. And yeah, I'll see you both Saturday at the game.
Yeah.
See you Saturday.
Henry, I will see you at the game on Saturday.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for having me on.
You, mate. Did we see him against this guy's brilliant still. He's absolutely fantastic. For people like him make our jobs as YouTubers really, really easy, don't they?
Do you know what the problem is with looking at the Community Shield? Leicester City beat Man City in the Community Shield last year.
Right.
Look where Leicester finished. Look where Man City finished. Like,
I love that. The airport run. Can you take Ndombele with you?
And Lo Celso and Brian Hill and Sessegnon.
Stel, we'll go for 10 more minutes.
Big up, Bryce. I love Bryce. Big up.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Faz, I'm going to bring up your super chat now, to be honest. We'll talk. Sorry, Henry really did need to go. He's got an airport run at like 6 a.m. Stel, top four. Give me your top four in order. You can go whichever way you want first.
As it stands right now,
yeah,
in the transfer window, I'm going to say Man City, Liverpool, Spurs, Chelsea. But if Chelsea sign another two players, they go third again.
Okay, so Man City, Liverpool, Spurs, Chelsea. I'm going to go Man City, Liverpool, Chelsea, Spurs. So yeah. I just think Chelsea have still got so much depth. And if they get, like, I think we talked about him before you came on the show, actually. Let me get your opinion on this still. Aubameyang, apparently they're about to make a move in the next 24, 48 hours for Aubameyang.
If they get him, that is top for Chelsea. If they get him.
A goal scorer, right?
Yeah. I heard some people talk about how, but he was shit at Arsenal. He was fantastic for 3 seasons. Like, what are you talking about? He single-handedly won them the FA Cup. He knocked Man City out in the semi, and then he put Chelsea to bed in the final. Aubameyang is a top player. He just fell out. He just fell out with the manager. Just didn't agree with Arteta. That's it.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, I mean, but you know what Spurs fans are like. We love to belittle every player. Talking of belittling players, Mark has said not every Ajax player comes out good. He's average. By the way, didn't Sanchez play for Ajax? I rest my case. First of all, there's no correlation between Van der Beek and Sanchez. Second of all, Mark, you must have missed it when we were outplayed twice by Ajax and Donny van der Beek and Frankie de Jong ran the show in midfield. I thought he was excellent. I
would say as well, in general,
See you, Carl.
It's typically the midfield and attacking players that Ajax develop that are always the ones that excel and go on to be amazing. Bergkamp, Van der Vaart, Edgar Davids, the guy that won everything, Clarence Seedorf. So I think defensively, the only one I can think in recent times that was good was probably De Ligt. I think he's good. And there was a player that played centre back for them, and then he went to Barcelona. He was there for a while under the manager before Pep. Forgot his name. But yeah, I don't think centre backs is the best judge of Ajax. I think the midfield and the attacking players is where I'm sorry, it's the best academy in the world, man. It is hands down the best academy in the world. It truly is. So, but yeah, look, Sanches wasn't a good product of Ajax. You're right.
Yeah, just quickly, True Blue Spurs said, Stel, you're not on Twitter anymore. Can he get a way of contacting you in regard to academy football?
DM the Tottenham away Twitter. DM the Tottenham away Twitter.
DM Tottenham away Twitter. Danny Conte said, Savva, that was years ago. It was years ago, but Donny van der Beek, I don't feel like we've ever seen him given a run of 5 or 6 games under managers like Rangnick and Solskjaer that don't have a way of playing. Let's see what he does under Ten Hag, a manager who brought him through. Let's see.
Yeah, exactly.
C-Cube said, I'm here for the toxic negativity. Hurrah. Big up Savva and Stel. Big up to yourself.
Big up.
Phil has said, Savva, where did Ericsson come from again? The same with Jan and Toby.
It's true.
Yeah. I mean,
well, you know what? There you go. There's 2 centre-backs. How did I even forget them? How did I forget them?
And they've just sold a centre-back to Man United as well.
How did I even forget them? Yeah. So, do you know what? Listen, Ajax produce talent, man. They do. They really do.
Of course they do. Of course they do. I mean, you've got clubs like Ajax and Barcelona that play the same way from the age of under 6 all the way to the first team. So that when you move through the ranks and you step up a team, it's not a new way of playing. You just slot into your position. You know what you're doing.
Do you know what? I'm lucky, right? I've been to most of the top 10 Premier League clubs, academies, and observed and watched and met coaches. I've watched England, the youth, and what they do with them at St George's. And I got to spend a month just observing. I was very lucky to get in. It's through a contact at Ajax. And I can tell you all hands down, Ajax shits on anything I've seen. Anything I've seen. What they and Savva, and this is why I don't rate the Spurs academy, right? It's not I don't rate it. I just don't think it's where it should be. If you look at the quality of coaches that Ajax employs, they are phenomenal. They are phenomenal. The coaches a lot of Premier League clubs employ. The only exception is probably Chelsea. Chelsea attracts amazing coaches. So I have a stop gagging for Van der Beek's cock. Well, whose cock should we gag then, mate?
give me. I'm craving it. Give me an alternative. What? There are some weird people behind a keyboard.
All right. Savva, he's right. Oh, yeah. Richarlison's a fucking what a signing. I mean, Richarlison. I can't believe it. I was dreaming of that all summer. Please get him.
It's so funny, isn't it? If you think a player's good, you're gagging for their cock. If you think a player is bad, you're negative. It's like where do you go? But like we've got 5 minutes left still. Let's talk realistically.
Savva, do you know what? This argument of whether a player is going to be good or not, it beggars belief because people that say, "Oh, Van der Beek, he was good then, he's not good now." Well, then in that case, Ben Davies and Dyer, who were shit, that now every fan is saying, "Oh, we got to sign. We're glad they got a contract." It's amazing what a coach can do to a player, isn't it? Yet we're dismissing what Ten Hag can do with Van der Beek, and this is why I don't listen to comments like this because then you got to do the same for Spurs. So people that are saying Van der Beek isn't going to be good under Ten Hag because he wasn't good before, even though we know how bloody good he was under Ten Hag before, like you said. Well, the same applies to Spurs. Just admit that Ben Davies and Dyer are actually shit, but Conte's maybe improved them. Managers can make all the difference. That's why they get paid £20 million a year. It's to improve players, right? So I don't think anyone should dismiss Van der Beek. I just don't get it. I don't get it.
Daddy Conte has said that Real Madrid's academy is better than Ajax.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
Now, I'm just trying to rack my brain. In the last decade, I'm trying to rack my brain of many. I'm not saying I don't bring any through, but any that have gone on to be superstars. Maybe you could put some in the chat for us, Daddy Conte. I'm not saying you're wrong. I would just like to. I can't think right now. Yeah, Barry and Baxter said, yeah, some Spurs fans, how dare you appreciate a player from another team? Absolutely.
How dare you like football in general?
Wow Factor has said, hi guys, top show. Thank you very much. Listen, we just like talking about football. C Cubed has said, Savva, we're winning the league, right? It depends who we are is. If we are at Tottenham, then no. Cobham has the best academy right now.
I would say in England, yes, but if you see what Man City have been doing, it's only a matter of time. When that goes, it's going to be seriously, seriously good. If you think Foden's good, wait and see what's going to be coming out of that soon. Tiki Birkenstein is a phenomenal coaching director. They got him from Barca. He was behind a lot of that Pep Barca work. So I think Man City are going to really surprise a lot of people once that academy really comes to fruition.
This is one of the best accounts on YouTube for me. I love this guy. I never know. I never know who he supports. When he says I don't know. Am I looking at Man City?
You attract them all, Savva. You literally attract them all.
Listen. I welcome everyone with open arms. And tonight, I've been told that my mum's something. That I want Van der Beek's cock. I just don't know. It's just a crazy world out there. I've just stopped taking any of it seriously. 2 more minutes we'll go for. Matthew said, hope so, Stel, because we've just bought Romeo Lavia and Bazzuno from City's academy.
Man City, I just told you, their academy right now they're building something very special. Their Etihad campus is the best academy facility set up in the UK now.
Yep. The Ultimate Bender, great name. I said, can't lie, Savva. Whenever you come on my screen, something happens downstairs. I hope you are talking literally in terms of down, like you're upstairs and something. Oh my! I don't know why I read that out.
I don't know why you read that out.
Stel, just before you go, this question. I know you need to jump off. So this
question. I can stay. I'm enjoying it.
Okay. Okay, let's go. I've got a couple of questions then. We'll go to this one first. The Wow Factor said, quick question, guys. Do you think we can win the Champions League with this squad, bearing in mind we won the final before?
Fuck
listen, my answer to this would be, does lightning strike twice? I feel that when we got to the Champions League final before, I think we had a huge series of events that went our way. I didn't think we were actually that great in that Champions League run. And our league form suffered greatly. So the short answer is no. Stel, can you shed any light?
I'm not going to say no because anything is possible. Anything is possible. But my opinion, no. No, this squad isn't good enough. Not with the level of competition that now surrounds us. Liverpool, City, Bayern Munich are on the way back. Barcelona are throwing money left, right, and centre, even though they haven't got any. Real Madrid, do you ever want to play Real Madrid in the Champions League? No. Chelsea are no mugs. So I think it's very, 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 very difficult with the current squad we've got. And also, we've got a manager who, unfortunately, for whatever reason, he just can't do well in Champions League football. He never has. So, no.
Mm-hmm. Just quickly before I move on to the next question, thank you. We've still got 169 people that clearly don't have airport runs at 6 a.m. like Henry Wright or Henry Wrong does. I've got to call him that now. Henry Wrong. I can't. Henry works for me, right? So I can't get used to these nicknames. Otherwise, I'll be at work and be like, "Oh, Wrongy." You know what I mean? Like,
I think Henry Bowden was the best one.
Henry Bowden was brilliant. Just quickly. If anyone hasn't subscribed, please do. It always amazes me when I look at my figures after each show and I see that 50% of the people that watch my show didn't subscribe, and I think that's a lot of people. So I'm either doing something hilariously funny or terribly wrong. Please hit that subscribe button. Subscribe to Stel at Tottenham Away. What you will get from both of us is complete honesty and lovely beards to go with that. Stel, here's a great question for you. AJ said, Stel, why do you think our academy has been so shit?
Because of Daniel Levy. He does not allow the academy in the first team to interfere with one another. There isn't a philosophy of developing a way of playing that then matches the first team, because we sack the managers every 2 years and every manager that comes in has got a different idea. So therefore, how can you develop a way of playing if the manager that comes in is going to have his own way of playing? Unless you do what Barca tries to do and Ajax tries to do, is you bring in a manager that's going to play the way of the club. But we don't do that. And that comes directly from above. The philosophy at Spurs is, if you can develop the total player, he should be able to play in any system under any manager anyway. But the problem with that is, if you're going to develop a total player, you need to have some of the best coaches around. And I'm sorry, Spurs do not have enough of those level coaches. They don't.
Let me ask you a question then.
And that's my answer to you.
Let me
The facilities are shit hot though.
Obviously, you still coach. I used to coach back in the day, and one of the things that I was always baffled about, Stel, was the club that I coached at. The youth setup was just in no way mirroring or matching what the first team setup was, and I always asked the question of, like, well, if your youth team plays like X, but your first team plays like Y, how do you expect players jumping up to suddenly fit in? Now, do you think it's helped? That it's been a hindrance of Spurs that we have gone through so many managers with so many different styles that maybe no one's gone in there like Pep would have done at City and said, right, we're all playing this way now throughout the club. Do you think that could be an issue? We've had Poch with his style, Jose with his, Conte with his, and AVB and Redknapp, and it's all been a big. Do you reckon there's any kind of truths in there, or?
100%, and I've heard it directly from the coaches at Spurs. When Mourinho was the manager, it completely defeated the purpose of a lot of what we did with the academy players. Look, the problem we've got is this: if you were to put Son, Kane, I'm trying to think who else is. Let's just say them two. You could put them under any manager at any club and they will perform. And they have. They've always performed. Why? Because they're quality players. And this is what I'm saying. A quality player, a complete player, can play in any system under any manager and get a job done. But to develop a Son, to develop a Kane, do you know how hard that is? Do you know how many things have to come together? And do you know what level of coaching it's going to take? And you can't do that for every player. You just can't. So there needs to be what you said. There needs to be continuity. What the mistake we made, Savva, was when we sacked Poch, we should have brought in a manager that plays Poch's style, but doesn't have the deficiencies Poch had. Whatever weaknesses Poch had, someone that could overcome those. So if we then brought in a Klopp or a Pep or a even a Ten Hag, maybe, that's what we should have done. Instead, we went 180 Mourinho ball, then we went 180 Nuno. Now we've kind of gone somewhere in the middle with Conte. You're right. I totally agree. One
of the things I want to, I want to hit on of what you just said there is so true. Whenever we talk about younger players, we're constantly comparing, right, in football. I will get to the point, but we're constantly comparing. So, for example, when we're talking about wing backs, because Moses had a decent season under Conte, it means that everyone Conte now puts at right wing back is going to work. So we're always comparing. Now, I see this a lot with Dane Scarlett, Troy Parrott, is look what happened with Kane. But Kane is the anomaly, right? There's not many players that come out of youth systems into the first team of the club they've grown up at and do what Harry Kane's done. But yet fans seem to expect that still with everyone. So basically, this was born from when I said, well, Troy Parrott's not really done well wherever he's been on loan. Right? He's not, when I say not done well, he's not scoring goals for fun, right? But I get, well, look what Kane did. Is there this over-reliance on fans' opinions? They just believe that everyone coming through the youth team is going to be the next Kane, the next Bale, the next XYZ.
In 20 years, we've only developed 2 world-class players, Harry Kane and Ledley King. That's it. Mm-hmm. That is it. In 20 years, maybe more. So to then assume that any young player that comes through the academy is going to be there, where's the evidence to back that? There's none. The evidence actually says it's not going to happen. So the problem we have is we so love Tottenham and we so want to show we're supportive of the young kids and we're supportive of the academy and we're supportive of what we're doing that we will back dog shit just to show that we love the club. Whereas sometimes what's just needed is a bit of a reality check. And the reality is there are some very, very, very good young players at the Spurs Academy. But for them to then become the next Kane, the next Ledley King, they need game time. They need to be taken out of their comfort zone and actually challenged. And they need luck. Harry Kane was very fortunate that Soldado and Adebayor were the strikers at the club at the time, and they were fucking woeful. There was no choice but to play him. None. Mason Mount, Tammy Abrahams, Reece James, none of them were going to play for Chelsea. But then Chelsea got a transfer embargo. Lampard had to play the young players. That's the lucky bit. So you need luck. You need to be playing games, which means go on loan. And you've got to have a coach that can develop you. Poch was a good developer of players. So you need a lot of things to happen to you between 18 to 21. Yeah. It's there's no givens, man. So when everyone says, "Oh, Dane Scarlett, Troy," no, there's no given, man.
Well, that's what's happening in the chat right now. Is look before
he's meant to be, but because he hasn't yet. But he hasn't.
Right. So when I say things about young players, I get told, "Oh, you hate young players. You don't know." Listen, I'm not doubting that Alfie Devine, could be the next big thing at Spurs, but I don't know how old you are, Daddy Conte. I know how old you are still. I know how old I am. Over the years, how many times, not just at Spurs, how many times year in, year out, do you hear that so-and-so is the next so-and-so? So-and-so is the next big thing. And how many of them have actually come to fruition? Not many, right? There's not many.
Not at Spurs. And also, don't forget as well, guys in the chat, the manager at Spurs is under a lot of pressure. He has to minimum get top 4 for the money, because our club, they care more about money than anything else, right? So if you're a manager, are you going to risk potentially winning a game that gets you 3 points closer towards top 4 if it means playing a youngster? You're going to do. I'll do all the world of good for that young kid, developing him, but it might cost me the game. You're probably not going to play the kid because your job will be on the line. I'm earning £20 million a year. Should I develop Alfie Devine or should I play Kulusevski, who's going to get me a goal and win me the game? I'm going to play Kulusevski. That's why I get paid £20 million a year. I don't want to lose my salary and get fired. So this is what I mean when I say there needs to be some luck along the way. The timing is so important. Right now, Conte is not going to risk playing any youngster if he feels it might cost him the game. No chance. No way. That's why he wins trophies.
Yeah, it's absolutely true. I mean, I remember when I was working down at Charlton Athletic, they were in the Premier League at the time, so that tells you how long ago it was. And I remember that Curbs actually said to some of the youth coaches, I want to give some of them a go, but I'm in a relegation battle. I can't, you know what I mean? Charlton staying up was worth what? How much to them as a club versus producing and bringing through a youngster. And unfortunately, that's where we are at football now, right? Where it's so money-led, what's the important thing? Is it bringing through youngsters and having one of your own, or is it win at all costs? Money. Yeah? Some managers do both. Some managers manage, like if you look, you know, everyone told me years ago that Foden wouldn't get a game. Pep wouldn't give him a game. He's not good enough. Foden was that good that he got in and amongst that star-studded cast. So you do get the odd player, but I agree still. Most of the time it's luck, right? It's timing, it's luck, it's an injury, it's it's something. But ours just hasn't been good enough for years, has it? It's been
look. There are players at our club that should have been given a chance. There are players at our club that shouldn't have been sold. But I'll go back to what I said. If you were the manager of Spurs, okay, and I said to you, do you want to be remembered as the manager that won the Premier League at Spurs or the manager that brought through Troy Parrott and Alfie Devine? Which one would you want?
right.
Always going to say Premier League title because I mean, that's what managers are all about. It's about the win, right? It's about being the success story. And people that say you can do both, yeah, you can. You can. If you've got 3 or 4 years of patience to bring them all through.
Right.
Now, 3 or 4 years without winning trophies, 3 or 4 years without success at Tottenham, the fans aren't going to tolerate it.
Mm-hmm.
The time to have brought the youngsters through was 5-10 years ago. When there still was patience and tolerance amongst the fan base, that was a time to do it. Because there wasn't a plan for it, because there's never a plan. Now, good luck. Good luck trying to implement a 3-year plan to bring the kids through when every Spurs fan is banging on the door of Daniel Levy saying, "Where's our title? Where's our trophies? You better deliver, otherwise we're gonna revolt." So there's too much pressure to bring them through, I think. Spurs is the wrong club right now. Spurs is the wrong club if you're a young player because the pressure to succeed is so great.
I'll tell you, one of the things, Graham,
I love Graham. I think he's brilliant.
My show, right? So Graham's been a coach in the world of football for 40-odd years. And he always says to me, he said, if you watch games, he said, the difficulty that these youngsters have is if there's a bench of 9 players, managers have their hierarchy. With most managers, the first 3 subs are going to be this guy, and this guy. So the chances that it's going to get down to the 7th, 8th, and 9th players that are going to be the 18, 19-year-olds, what are the chances of that? And unless they are brilliant, I mean, if you look at Liverpool, Man City, to break through there, you've got to be some sort of special, right? Because they don't need to do it. Alexander-Arnold, special, right? Foden, special. The rest of them, City have got so many good young players. They're all going out on loan to Premier League teams now. They're going on loan.
And that's what I said about game time. There's a comment here from Martin Blue who says, pressure to succeed exists at every club. It's a silly point that I made. No, it's not, mate. There is no pressure at all at Brighton, at Norwich, at Aston Villa, at Everton. There is no pressure at all to get top 4. None. There is no pressure there for that. There's no pressure on them. You've got to win the FA Cup. There isn't. At Tottenham, right now, there is a lot of pressure. A lot.
I'll ask you a question on this, Stel.
From manager. Go on, Savva.
I'll ask you a question on this. You used Brighton as a point there. I'll ask everyone in the chat and to you. The difference of pressure is this. If Antonio Conte doesn't get the top 5, let's say, he's failed. If he doesn't get the top 5, it's a failure, and he could be sacked. Okay. I was being polite. Top 4, then he's failed because we've gone backwards. If Potter, here's my question to you, Stel. If Graham Potter finishes anywhere between 8th and 15th,
he's a hero. He's a hero.
Right. That's the difference in the pressure, right? Is that at the top clubs, and let's be fair, we are now in a Champions League team. At the top clubs, it is, you can't say, everyone goes, Potter's a good coach. And he is. Potter's a good coach. Brighton are my second favourite team, blah, blah. You can't have that when you're Conte, when you're Klopp, when you're Pep. Look at the stick Pep Guardiola gets. One of the most successful managers of all time, and he still gets called Pep Fraudiola. That's the pressure.
I don't understand people that question.
No, I don't.
No, you're not. I know you're not. I've never understood it.
Yeah. Klopp, Tuchel, Jose, Unai Emery, these managers that win, serial winners, get berated. Yeah? They get berated. So the pressure, Martin Blue, the point is completely different. Brighton could bring through a 19-year-old and play him week in, week out, and there'd be no repercussion. If Spurs bring in a 19-year-old, you're turning around to one of the senior squad in front of him and saying, by the way, we think this 19-year-old kid is better than you.
Guys, we played our kids under Jose Mourinho. We played our kids in the first couple of games in the Europa Conference League Cup or whatever it was. Was it under whoever? It was Europa Cup. Whatever competition it was, we played the kids. It was a disaster. Now, what you should do in that moment is say, right, we're going to keep allowing a disaster to happen because the kids need to go through this to come out the other side. Every single Spurs fan was going ballistic that we're about to get knocked out of that competition. Are you, as a Spurs fan, prepared to take hit after hit, loss after loss, so that these youngsters can bed in and learn adult football? No, you're not. You're talking shit if you say you are. The only manager I've seen that's brought through loads of kids in this country in one go and was successful was Sir Alex Ferguson. Giggs, the Neville brothers, Scholes, Becker. He brought them all through. But how long did it take before Ferguson won a trophy? I think it was 3 or 4 years. So there was a project and it took time. And when it clicked, it was the best because they went to win everything, right? So if we want to bring through the kids, you have got to swallow 2 or 3 years of development for it to work. And the point I'm making is right now where Spurs are as a club, we don't have that patience. The media are hounding on us. Conte's demanding trophies now. We as fans demand it. We pay Savva always says we pay you the most money. Look what we get. The time to have brought the kids through was under Poch and before Poch. I think we've missed that window. There's no patience left.
Yeah.
And to develop kids, you need patience, Savva.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, Daddy Conte has said it's not about top four, Savva. It's about winning a trophy. I don't care if Conte doesn't get top four.
We agree. We agree.
I do and I don't. I think
you'll disagree with that.
The problem is twofold, right? Yes. So first and foremost, we need a trophy badly. Listen, you're not going to find two people more serious about that point than me and Stel. We've been banging that drum for years. However, I'm also not silly enough to know who we're owned by. And Daniel Levy, he wants top four over a trophy because top four is what brings in that, right? Top four brings in that way more than Europa League. Now, I now look at this and go, okay, Spurs as a club now, we want to start getting to the point where top four and a trophy. Too many times I hear this argument, Daddy Conte, can't believe I'm saying those words, it sounds weird, of would you rather finish 8th and win a cup or finish top four and not win a cup? Good teams that are run correctly, do both. Man City, Chelsea, Liverpool, every year, both. Don't they? They win and they finish top four. Win something, finish top four. You can't, it doesn't have to be either or. Yes, we need a trophy. Yes, we do. But I don't want to see us win a trophy. First of all, I don't understand this notion that winning a trophy means all of a sudden you have to finish 5 positions lower in the league because you had a 6-game cup run. I don't understand that. But Mark Dorset has said that's every club by making a Premier League rather than old First Division. Expectations get gassed up because of the TV money. Correct.
Yeah.
Martin Blue has said, do you think Lampard isn't under pressure?
Not to win, not to get top four, he's not. Not to get top four.
Martin, he was just using, he just plucked Brighton out of the, I mean.
Martin, you're right. Every club has a different pressure. But what's harder, to stay in a league or to win it? What's harder, to win a trophy or to get to a quarterfinal? To win it is the hardest. To win the Premier League is the hardest. That level of pressure is like nothing else. And if you're going to depend on kids to get you there, forget it. Why is it we loan our players to Norwich? Why do we loan them to Champion? Why? The pressure's off. The pressure's off.
I just want to answer this. Martin Blue, when you're saying what happens to Howe if Newcastle are 15th, then that man's getting sacked. Because again, the pressure at Newcastle has just gone from let's stay up to we have billionaire owners that are going, how much money do you want? So whilst I don't think Eddie Howe has to get Europe or be sacked, he can't finish 15th. He's just bought Sven Botman. He's just bought in Nick Pope, Kieran Trippier, Matt Targett, Guimaraes. They'll buy a few more. You've got to look at every club on its own merit. There's pressure for every club for sure. But Stell's point is about when you're bringing a youngster through. Okay, let's put it this way, Stell. Right? Saturday. Right? We're all in the pub at 2:00, roughly what time the team news comes out. And in the middle of the park is Harvey White. And on the bench is Bentancur. Right?
Who's coming on?
Right. No. But my point is, a manager like Conte can't take that risk. What? Why? Then let's just say you did lose the first game of the season. The pressure he is under immediately, whether it was White's fault or not, that's your excuse now, isn't it? That's the media. Why did you play that kid? Why did you do that? So they have to be brought in sensibly, like what Pep did with Foden. You know, a few minutes.
Can I say something though, Savva? Foden was an exceptional talent that came through that academy.
Of course.
He was level.
But what I'm saying is, it was easier to listen. He's exceptional. I think he's a fantastic player. But it's also easier to bring him in because the 10 players he would have been playing alongside were also exceptional players. Yeah? Spurs at the moment need a lot of work done on our first 11. So to chuck kids in when they might be playing alongside the likes of Emerson Royale, Ryan Sessegnon.
Let me give you an example, right? England haven't won a trophy since '66. European Cup final goes to penalties. Gareth Southgate put the whole country's.
I didn't. By the way, sorry, I didn't.
No, we didn't. Sorry. I didn't say that either. Gareth Southgate put the whole weight of the country on a kid's shoulders. Saka, right? Saka, go take that penalty. If you score, we might go on to win. If you lose, we're out. You know, we lose. Look what happened. Saka missed it. This is what I say. But are you going to risk? Would you risk a moment of glory on a kid's shoulders? Because if that was Conte, Mourinho, Pep, Klopp, Saka's not taking that penalty. Now, England lose the European final. That moment would have done the world of good for Saka, believe it or not, in his development. Mm-hmm. It's his character building. If you can come through this now, there's a player that's going to come through on the other side. That's the process you have. They're the kind of moments you have to go through with kids. When Saka missed that penalty, who did everyone blame? Saka or Southgate? Southgate got crucified. Gareth Southgate got slaughtered. So what do you think is going to happen to Conte if he makes that call and he gets it wrong? He's not going to take that risk. That's why he's elite. That's why Southgate's not elite. And that's the point I was trying to make.
And just off the back of talking about Southgate, Daddy Conte, when you're saying Phil Foden is rubbish for England,
Southgate's rubbish for England.
Southgate is rubbish for England. Southgate will always.
The football's terrible.
The football's terrible. If he picked the right players, he would get the type of football that we all want to see that Phil Foden would thrive under. Phil Foden is a Man City. Phil Foden epitomises Man City when you watch him play. That's his style. When you take him out of that style and put him in with a manager like Southgate that has no real attacking impetus, some people just don't think, do they? Let's see.
Yeah, go on, sorry.
I want to chuck youngsters in the Spurs squad like Arsenal do with Saka and Smith Rowe.
And what happened when the pressure was on end of season? Who bottled it? The kids or Tottenham? The kids. Arsenal bottled it. So when you can't come on the show celebrating, saying, yeah, top four, Conte did it, and then you want to say you should have done what Arsenal did. Sorry. No. You've actually backed up my point now, Partey.
The thing is as well, I think this is one of those.
They bottled it. Saka bottled it. Smith Rowe bottled it. The kids bottled it. Anyway, you look at it.
I don't think the kids bottled it. That's experience. You need experience in there. But the thing is, with this is a sweeping statement. I want to chuck youngsters in like Arsenal do with Saka and Smith Rowe. The problem is Saka and Smith Rowe were talented enough and ready to get into an Arsenal 11. Which youngsters, party after party, could we start week in, week out? There's my question. There's my question to anyone in the chat.
But
which
Savva,
youngsters?
These youngsters, though, Savva, came 8th, bottled top 4 when they were 4 points ahead with 3 to go. Martinelli's a youngster as well. He was part of this. These same youngsters bottled the European Cup final. They bottled the European semi-final last year, right? but maybe now and the year after, Arsenal might turn out to be really good because these youngsters they've gone through that process. It seems to me Arsenal are being very patient with the kids, which is the right way. What Arsenal are doing is actually the right thing. But as a Spurs fan, are you prepared to go through that now? 5 years ago, you might have said yes. Are you prepared to go through that now? And Savva, I don't think Spurs fans are. I don't.
But mate, my point is, it's very easy to turn around as a fan and say, I want to see youngsters chucked in. My question is, which two youngsters? Arsenal were in a position where they didn't have a lot of strength, so putting in Saka and Smith Rowe didn't make them weaker. My question to anyone in the chat is, which two youngsters do you want to see that walk into this 11 immediately and make it stronger? Which two youngsters could play Saturday? That's my question to anyone.
There's none.
Right.
There's none. The only one maybe is that Pape Sarr. Maybe. That's a maybe. That's a big maybe.
But party after party, I think you're getting confused here. Spence is a signing. Spence is a 21-year-old signing.
Skip went on loan, like I said. He played for Norwich every single week for 38, 42 games, man. And I'm sorry, Skip isn't a game changer either. He's not.
But the thing is as well, my question is Skip better than the other three in his position? Not for me.
No,
Spence,
he's not.
Spence, we signed him party after party. I think the point we're making, I think the point Stel and I are talking about is the players from the youth team.
Academy.
Players from the academy coming through. It's all well and good saying, oh, I want to see Spence and Skip. Skip's a first team player already. So that doesn't really count. Who from the youth team party after party, you said you want to chuck youngsters in? Who? Don't tell me players we've just signed and players that have already played in the first. Which youngsters do you want to chuck in? Because I bet you can't tell me two that are good enough.
Can you go to 1256 Hayat Shah?
Yep, I can indeed.
It's about 6 up from where you are. Yeah. He says he said that we should integrate youngsters in the Carabao Cup. And I don't mean 5 or 6, I mean 1 or 2, right? Here's the problem with that, Shah. How many games are there in the Carabao Cup? About 5 rounds. And let's say it gets difficult by the semi-finals and the finals. So really, you're looking at 3 to 4 games. That is not going to develop a damn thing. Nothing. Unless you're playing week in, week out, and you're getting at least half a game, you will not develop. Think, if you want to be a black belt of martial art, if you want to be a world-class footballer, if you want to be a pianist, it's consistency and repetition of the practice. And a football match is an extension of the practice. So if you haven't got that repetition week in, week out, and you get in that flow, you won't develop. You simply won't in anything in life. So this is why I say, what youngster is going to get that kind of an opportunity at Tottenham right now? I don't think it's going to happen. I just don't. I don't agree with it. But I understand why Conte wouldn't do it.
I mean, it's different, isn't it? Like, does Conte look at our youth team and go, God, there's a Phil Foden, right? I mean, for example, for example, Spurs, we're not the strongest at right wing back, and we're not the strongest even last year at left wing back, and we weren't the strongest at centre back. Did Conte manage to look at the youth team and go, he's a really good right back, he's a really good left back, he's a really good centre back, let's see what they can do? Nope. If he's not going to do it then, he's not going to do it now. That's unfortunate.
I do think there is a problem with any what we would call an elite player lurking in the academy. The only one that was actually top, and I mean he was a real sensation, was Marcus Edwards. Right, he was a fantastic football, honestly, but his attitude was worse than Ndombele's. Fucking horrendous attitude. A real little shit. So the one that was coming through that looked like we got a player on our hands here. Spurs did the right thing getting rid of him. They had to.
I think when people say, like PB and Jam has said, I hope we don't miss out on Divine. I really hope he breaks through our squad. I think we've got to remember.
Who does he replace, PM Jam? Who does he replace? Where'd you play?
I think we've got to remember as well, he only turned 18 4 days ago. And this is very young. This is really, really young. So unless you want...
Savva, where would you play him? Your Conte, where would you play Alfie Devine? Who'd you drop?
Listen, the only thing I could say is if he wants to not take if he wants to not take League Cups seriously, then it's that double-edged sword. You could chuck the youngsters in, but if they get knocked out in the first game...
Oh, it's another trophy. We've blown it again.
Yeah. Listen, Danny Conte, I'm not saying Saka's the best player I've ever seen. What I'm saying is Arsenal didn't have a lot of strength in that area. And as Stel alluded to earlier, the timing for Saka and for Smith Rowe was perfect. Had Saka and Smith Rowe been about maybe during the Invincible era, they're not breaking in. That might have seen their career path go, they're on loan at a lower league club. That's just the way the cookie crumbles.
Don't forget as well, like I said before, Harry Kane would never have got a chance had Soldado and Adebayor been so terrible. Arteta was on the brink of losing his job, lost like 9 games in a row. He lost the dressing room. The older players didn't want him. So the only choice he had at that stage was, right, let me throw some youngsters in, drop these senior players that are causing a revolt. And he's so fortunate that Smith Rowe and Saka saved his ass. Very fortunate. Just like Harry Kane, when he scored that goal at Aston Villa that day, 7 years ago, he saved Pochettino. Pochettino's on the brink.
Yeah.
Same thing happened.
Just quickly, I take your point here, party after party, but again, this is one of them times where I ask time and time again for a name and people skirt around the point. Tell me, who are you integrating in?
And how? How do you integrate them?
Who and how?
So do we drop Harry Kane for Troy Parrott?
But look, this is the thing, right? We're talking about
There'll be an uproar.
We're talking about a season now where there's a 5-sub rule. Now you have to look and say as well, how many senior pros are going to like it if they're on the bench and then some 18-year-old kid with no experience is getting put on before them? And unfortunately, that's the way the cookie crumbles. You can bet your bottom dollar. If Devine, let's just say Devine and Højbjerg were both on the bench as central midfield options, which one do you think is coming on first?
Exactly. And what would fans say if Devine came on and we lost? They'd blame Conte, they'd blame the substitution, and they put everything that happened on that one moment, that decision to bring on Devine. That's what would happen.
This is the problem. I think it's one of those ones where ultimately you do have to be good enough, but you have to. I think fans, we want one of our own, right? We want youth teams to come through, but we seem to want it no matter how good they are. It just feels like for years still I've heard, oh, Troy Parrott should be in our first team squad. I've seen Troy Parrott play numerous times. That guy's not ready. But fans that haven't seen him play, that have maybe seen his name on Football Manager or FIFA, yeah, or oh, he scored a goal for Ireland, get him in. This is a guy that scored 8 goals last year in League One, and we think that he can lead the line in a Champions League team. You can't do it.
Do you know who? It beggars belief that fans say this and they think we're going to win the league and we can win the European Cup. Like you got to know what you're up against. The teams we're up against, we cannot afford to. It's sad. It's sad because as a youth coach, I don't like what I'm saying, but I'm being honest about it. Tottenham is not the club right now to be, in my view. If you're a young player, it's an academy player. It's not. The fact that we spent £20 million on a young right back and didn't just pluck one out the academy tells you that Conte isn't going to take a punt on an academy kid. And when Martin Blue says, "Oh, Harry Kane obviously wouldn't have got his chance if he wasn't good," no, he got his chance because the 2 strikers we had weren't scoring goals, and because we weren't scoring goals, Pochettino was going to get sacked. Poch had to throw the dice. He had to do something different, and the only thing available was, let me try this kid, and he caught life. The goal he scored against Aston Villa was deflected off the wall. He caught life, man. Do you understand? This is the lucky bit. I did say you need a bit of luck. That was the luck. It
is.
The rest is history. Harry Kane, from there, don't know what happened to him. He just took off. There you go.
it's strange, isn't it? Because we say if players are good enough, then they'll play. But like, look at Chelsea, for example. If you look in the last 4 years,
they've got quality academy players.
Chelsea, absolutely. But even for how good the players are, you look how many players they've had to sell for the players to go out and get proper game time. They've had to sell Lamptey, Guehi, Tomori. We're talking like Guehi and Tomori right now walk into our back three, right? Chelsea sold them, right? That's how difficult it is in modern football to get your chance. Lamptey, Guehi, Tomori, Tammy Abraham. They sent Conor Gallagher out on loan last year to Crystal Palace. Mason Mount went on loan before he started getting a Derby. These players have to prove they're good enough. And players like Parrott haven't even shown it out on loan. So when Spurs fans want them to suddenly be in the team, I don't want to see Troy Parrott playing for Tottenham right now. Sorry if that's harsh, though. I don't.
Savva, we are not going to win anything if Troy Parrott plays for Spurs this season. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. He's not at nowhere near what Kane and Son and Kulusevski provide us. He's not even close to that. So he could be one day, but he needs game time and minutes and regular football. He's gone on loan. If he shines there, then you might have another look at him. But he's got to shine there. Oliver Skip shone at Norwich. He really shone. That's why, that's why he came back to Spurs.
Here's one for you, Stel. And Stel, I am going to wrap up in about 3 minutes.
But, good.
Who is the most blatant name that you can think of who came through our academy, didn't get a chance, left, and became top draw? Off the top of my head, no one.
Who's the most blatant name you can think of who came through our academy, didn't get a chance, left?
Who? Am I missing somebody?
But he was very young when it happened, though. So are you talking about David Beckham? He was like 12. Thing is, he got poached. Though. It's not. He never got a chance. He got poached, and they paid a lot of compensation as well. But I don't think you're talking about him.
No, I mean, who?
Beckham. Beckham was a Spurs academy player. But
I'm looking at this is again. I haven't got this in front of me. This is off the top of my head still. Here's the crop of players in the last 10 years that came through and went out. Right. I would say, let's start with the obvious. Yeah, I would say Cole Walker-Peters. I would say Andros Townsend, Jake Livermore. I would say Ryan Mason, Ben Taleb, Tommy Carroll, Jamie O'Hara.
None of them did anything good. It's probably Beckham. I think he's talking about, but it has to be Beckham.
Still, that's my point.
But Beckham was too young to get a chance. He was too young when he left us.
Party after party. I mean, we're not going to say Kyle Walker-Peters is top draw, are we? I mean, let's be realistic about this. He's decent down at Southampton.
I do think he would have been a better option than what we ended up doing. I agree with that.
I agree. But that doesn't make him top draw.
He's not going to lead us to a league title, man. He's not. Kyle Walker-Peters.
So no one tells me that it's not lack of chance at Spurs, but lack of quality coming through from academy.
It's both. It's a bit of both.
Martin Blue, who are you referring to? Who are we missing? Are we missing someone, or are we making the point you're trying to make?
Yeah, I think it was a trick question.
Martin Blue, we're going to end the show in 1 minute, so stop with the questions. Who's the player you're thinking of that we are obviously missing?
Look, Savva, for me, the fact that the club directly says the academy and the first team cannot influence one another. One is not dependent on the other. There's a clear separation. That for me is a problem. Number two, the lack of continuity of managers. Different manager, different system every 2 years. That's a problem. Not having enough quality coaches is a problem. And the fact that the pressure is so high now at Spurs from the fans, for us to be successful, it makes it very difficult for a young player to come through. So there's a multitude of layers. There's a multitude of layers that are stifling players from the academy.
Agreed. I mean, Martin Blue, you said there's no one. Isn't that the point we've been making, right? That there hasn't been anyone good enough to bring them in. Yeah, look, still, I am going to leave it there because, I'm not a vampire. I do need to get some sleep. It's been an absolute pleasure. I'll see you next week. I'm sure you'll be on.
Don't lie, you've got an airport run.
You picking up Jared Bowen? First of all, thank you to everyone in the chat. I think by and large, most people have been very respectful, and it goes to show that we can all disagree without the hate, without the negativity, without the toxicness. So thank you very much. Okay. So thank you very much to everyone. I will be going live tomorrow with a Spurs Q&A where I do allow fans to come onto the show. I will ask if anyone is interested in that. Please, when you come onto the show, please don't be somewhere where it's noisy. And if you are, please learn to put yourself on mute after you've made your point. But if anyone's about for that, we'll speak then. Other than that,
Savva,
thank you. Go on.
There's one question you starred that you didn't answer.
Go on. Oh,
do you want to take it because you started it? You can answer it. It's your question.
Okay. Eamon Burns quickly has said, Eamon Burns said, lads, please answer me this one question if you can. Why the hell does Harry Kane keep taking free kicks when he is diabolical? Sonny should be taking them. I have no defense of Harry Kane in that. What staggers me about this more than anything, people, is why is Harry Kane not better at free kicks? Clearly, if he's the designated free kick taker, why is he not out on that training ground for an hour after training every day, whipping in free kicks? And if he is, why can't he convert that to the game?
And why have we got a free kick coach specialist at the club?
Right. So unfortunately, look, if we go deep into this, we're never going to get to bed. Eamon, thanks for your question. Thank you, everybody that contributed. Stel, I'll see you on Saturday. If any of you are about on Saturday and want to say hello, come and say hello. And we'll take it from there. Take care, everyone. See you later.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.